We are live. Awesome. Now let me get to my notes because otherwise I just ramble and nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. Welcome, my friends. Welcome. Welcome back to the Krieg Dominion. I'm Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander and host for this, the 10th episode of Along the Frontier, an alien RPG campaign entitled Marine Country. I am the game mother, the game master, the storyteller, the guy running the show, mostly. With me, of course, are my players, Rodance, Luke, Kane, and let's take a moment to check in with him. It has been a few weeks since we last convened and actually got a stream up and rolling. So let's check in and see what's new and exciting with them. And while I'm doing that, never mind what I'm doing. I'll just be over here teaching my face huggers how to harmonize their screeches. Rodance, what's new and exciting for you?
I realized that my hot chocolate plushie with scent things in the top still smells like hot chocolate, and I've had it for like a year now. It's pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
I got this because my mom did not realize the Squishmallow brand was plushies. She thought it was giant marshmallows and went to buy me a giant marshmallow. I ended up with a plushie instead last year. And it still smells like hot chocolate.
Well, the hot chocolate smelling plushie definitely lasted longer than the marshmallow that she thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I'm also the person who eats Peeps, preferably stale, because they're chewy that way.
Okay, I'm going to have to ask you to leave this campaign now. Yes, there's something weird.
You know what's even better?
Go ahead.
I will put mushrooms, pineapple, anchovies, and olives on the same pizza.
I'll eat it because none of that bothers me. But there's something about Peeps that is just weird.
So weird, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't know if it's the texture. It's got to be the texture. It's really the only thing I can.
It's the extruded marshmallow. I think that trips people up.
It's the eyes. Is that what you said, Luke?
Yeah, that would do it too for some folks.
Yeah, it would. It would. Yeah, no, Peeps. It's. I remember as a kid, I would eat them because it was a marshmallowy sweetness treat. But there was just still there was this sugary, glittery thing on them that was just weird, and didn't really seem to mix well. And then later, I learned that I have a sweet tooth the size of Texas, and I should probably just stay away from them. But also, just the texture in general is what gets me. But at any rate, anything else new and exciting for you, my friend?
The hair poof collection is still hair poofing.
Yes, I see the hair poof is continuing to grow.
It is improving.
How long
it's still sticking straight up rather than in my eyes, even though it's inconvenient bang length. It is eyeball. It is now eyeball length, and it still sticks straight up. So I guess I'm gonna roll with it for now. It's better than it being in my eyes.
Yes, and I can attest to that because I don't always show it very well on the screen, but I do have long hair, and there are times when it gets in the eyes or the ears or just anywhere. Yes, Luke.
I cut mine
careful,
once I
Luke.
start
Your luscious locks are going to get us all.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say, Rodance, as I was trying not to talk over you?
The perfect length to cut your hair is right before you start catching it with your elbows when you roll over in bed.
Oh, I've had that happen a few times, or just in
it happens
general.
About like mid arm is when you start rolling over and catching your elbow in it when you roll over in your sleep.
Yeah,
and yanking your own head off.
I haven't gotten it quite to elbow, but I've definitely rolled over and had it in the crook of my shoulder and neck.
It's like pulling your own hair out. Sleep edition. It's not fun.
No. There's definitely times I've moved and I've been like, oh no, we have to fix something because my head in general just doesn't feel right, and it's mostly hair related.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the usual, my brain. But Luke, what's new and exciting for you, my friend? It's been a few weeks. The last we heard, you had moved into a new place. I don't know if that actually made it on stream. I don't remember.
No, I don't believe that made it on stream as far as moving into a new place, but a new background, new location, all that
a
kind
new
of stuff.
blurred background.
Yes. My first ever L desk. That's always nice. Yeah.
They are certainly convenient when you have a place to put them.
Yes. And it's associated next to a window, which is nice.
I do like the fact that you do have that window right there for you in the one image that you had shared on Discord a couple weeks ago. Yeah, right there on your left.
Yeah.
I feel like through the daytime you probably get plenty of sunlight in there, but hopefully not too much that it causes like glare issues.
Oh, it does, but I mean, you just gotta enjoy the sunlight.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, other than that, I've been comfortable working on my game and stuff like that, which is a release that is not really something that has any name yet, but is looking a lot better and is actually looking like something that might actually get on the App Store eventually.
Well, that's good. That's good. Is that what
Yeah.
you? So you haven't intended to go on? So it's for mobile, is what you're developing it for, right?
So the original one is going to be on mobile, and then the second one's going to be on PC, and we'll go from there.
Okay. All right. That
Yeah,
sounds cool.
I just want to see. Yeah, I just want to see if it like it pans out, kind of deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I definitely would be interested to take a look at it when the time comes.
Yeah, when it's presentable.
Well, there's varying levels of presentability based on the reason in which it's being presented.
Yeah,
I also
but
spent
other
a few years going to game development classes, so
oh yeah, as a self-taught coder, actually my other half here is the one who's doing the art for it. So I
yeah,
mean,
that's right. That's right. You're doing the more technical
yeah,
side. She's doing the more artistic side, the
yeah,
modeling and
and
whatnot.
yeah, so that sounds like it's a good idea, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good division of labor.
Yeah. So
Anything
other than
else?
that, pretty much just working away. I did Hell Week, which is probably one of the reasons why I think the last week we weren't able to actually play.
Yeah, the week before last. I think yeah, last week I think was me because it was technical
Yeah.
issues. I had a I think what it boiled down to was a certificate that I didn't get updated within the tokens of Twitch.
Oh,
I don't know if that makes any sense at all, and it's probably not even close to accurate for what it was. But basically, I just had to go back in and re-verify a couple things. But and ironically, and as I think I said this, as like, watch, I could probably fire all this up and we'll be ready to go. But after I did the reboot, because I ended up rebooting the computer, I think was what the final step was before we broke. After deciding that we weren't able to actually get anywhere, I was like, watch, I'm gonna restart my computer and everything's gonna be just gravy. And sure as shit, everything fired up.
yeah.
But of course by that point I'm almost like it was. I think we had a late start already because of work, and it was like so we were at like hour and 30 minutes at the very most we would have gotten in for playtime had we started at that point. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
it's just
then
just let's just
doing a
scrap
role
it.
play wouldn't have been like as much,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do.
yeah. It would have been its own stressor the amount of time remaining.
Yeah.
Kane, the player for Sergeant Pike, who every now and again does actually pull off a good Pike impression. What's new with you, my friend?
Not much.
Or should I
Not
refer
much, really.
or should I also refer to you as my current point of contact for all things Star Trek Online related?
I guess so. I just, you hadn't played in a while and I remembered a few things, so I figured I'd pass them on.
A few things. I feel like there was a lot of things, but that could have been the fact that I've never got much into like hardcore into like what kind of build I'm running. Just
I
playing,
mean,
casually
I,
or whatever.
I mean, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of it harder to like if you play the game on normal and you only do the normal like F, uh
Like
I wanted
casual
to say
level.
FTX. Why is my I'm already prepping my
TFO.
brain. TFO. Then your build basically doesn't matter. But trying to do anything past that or trying to figure out like, hey, what do I do next? Then a little coherency will save you a ton of time.
It did, and I think that was initially why I had looked for those builds that I had shared with you, because they gave me a direction. Now, based on our conversation, and I'm not knocking those build or those guides by any stretch of the imagination, but sometimes, as you had mentioned, sometimes guides fall out of date or things change or whatever the case might be. And a lot of the information you gave was like just lost. It was almost overload. It was almost overload. But I've tried to stick with it somewhat based on what we had talked about since then. I also haven't been playing a lot of that one character. I've been doing, if I did play, I've been doing the Delta recruit thing. But even then, like, some of those ideas are still running around in my head. So I've got a kind of an idea of what I might want to do with that Delta character once it gets further along. But also, what's new and exciting for you, other than, hanging out with me a bit over the last few days, which probably wasn't all that exciting, to be honest.
I really not too much. I've been doing a lot of the same stuff. I mean, tax season super easy for me.
Lucky.
As a government pension guy, that's almost entirely tax free.
That must be nice. I hate you already. Not talk about the fact that No, we're gonna talk about it because now I'm irritated. But I want you to finish first.
I mean, if the circumstances of my retirement were different, I would be paying more in taxes on it, but I don't.
I'm not.
So,
But for the record, I'm not hating you. I'm hating the system.
I mean, the two realities of the totality of the human experience are death and taxes, right?
This is true, and sometimes those two ideas are very closely intertwined.
Sometimes one makes you want the other.
Yes, this is a fair.
Surprisingly, you don't have to pay taxes on life insurance.
We
Really?
don't. You don't. I don't know.
No, you don't.
So if I kill somebody as their beneficiary,
well, that's yes. So
I was trying to tie the whole death and taxes into it.
So I do with insurance, and some person was like, "Oh, like, do I have to pay taxes on this?" Like, it was like $180,000 life insurance policy. It was like, okay, yeah, no, you don't. They're like, so,
I mean, that's
and then
cool.
they're like, "Well, you're not gonna like come back on your word, are you?" I'm like, no, actually, the only the only taxes you pay are on the interest, which was like $15 because you deadlift it like right away. So you have like, if it was over $50, we'd actually send you like a thing, but you don't have to pay any taxes on that. It's like, what?
Well, that's cool.
So no
Never
taxes when
really
you die.
Never really thought too much about my life insurance. I figured that was someone else's problem.
I mean,
It
it
is.
definitely sounds like somebody else's problem. I feel like once that comes into the equation, I'm already zeroed out.
Yeah, I mean, I have life insurance, but I'm not too worried about the particulars of drawing it.
Right. Yeah, just make sure it's there and all the information is up to date as best as possible, right? That's
And
my
you have
obligation.
to have the social security identifiers in there. Otherwise, they get angry about actually dispensing it out properly.
Yeah.
That's
So you have to have your beneficiaries defined properly.
Yeah, I mean, so basically, the biggest thing on me is like, who's getting what's left of me, and making sure that whoever has to go find them has all the pertinent information.
Well, my one beneficiary hasn't died or changed their identity recently, so I'm good.
That's good.
Barring an extreme streak of poor luck, that should be solid for at least the next 20 years, maybe 30.
That's always reassuring. I will say this about taxes, and then I am in the very much not enviable position, and when I say not enviable, what I mean is nobody would ever envy this. I am in the position where the only deduction I am entitled to, for one reason or another, all the deductions that are out there, I only get the one standard that everybody gets. I have zero other deductions. So when it comes time to saying, oh, here's X amount of money that you have to pay taxes on, before we figure out how much taxes you have to pay, let's take out the only deduction you're authorized, the standard one, and then whatever's left, we'll tax the shit out of that because reasons. And so for 4, 5, 6 years now, I have had to owe in the neighborhood of $3,000 to $5,000, give or take. And of course, I don't make nearly enough money to pay that. Yeah.
One,
Yes, I'm
I
listening.
do standard deduction because I can't get enough when I itemize with just my house
Correct.
to beat it.
Yes.
2, that's because you fucked up your withholding.
There might be
Like
now. I'll
that's
say this.
literally
I'll say
the
this.
only
I'll say this.
unless
You're
you're getting
probably
cash
right. You're probably right.
businesses,
So I went
that's
actually.
literally your problem.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. I know in the last 2 or 3 years where I kind of where I tried to pay attention to it, I definitely decided at one point like, all right, well, we'll just see how this year goes, and then there was another example, basically rinse and repeat of that. This year, after I filed my taxes the other day, I went and looked because I have 2 sources of income. One is my current job. One is my military retirement. So when I put in my job, only my job information was put in first. It actually showed something like it was either $5 or a $50 refund. So I'm like, okay, well that sounds like the withdrawal is it's pretty much on point. Like it's exactly what it's supposed to be for that. When I put my military retirement check in there, that's when it jumped up to almost $3,000 owed for the year. I was like, okay, well now we know exactly where the problem is. I need to go and look at my pay setup for my military stuff. So I start going in there, and turns out this is what I found. Long story short, this is what I found, and an expert can tell you better than I can. Previous years, I screwed myself. This starting, I guess, like 22 or 23, they changed that 0 or 1 deduction for single / head of household. That's not even a question anymore. Because I guess someone somewhere was like, well, that's just too confusing for people to figure it out, so we're just going to take that out because it's doing more harm than good. Whether or not you claim either 0 dependents or 1 dependent when you're only single, when it's only you. So they took that out. Well, okay. Of course, you also have the option in the U.S. that you can elect to have a certain amount of money withheld from all of your income each month or whatever.
In addition, yes.
Yeah, to pay for taxes ahead of time. And there's a tool online that you can go through. You basically input you input basically your income to determine like an average amount of income per pay period, and however many pay periods have already gone by in the year. And I put all this stuff in, and they're like, well, you actually, based on this information, should be expecting like $850 return in 2025 for the 2024 tax year. So I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I running crazy? Why am I paying so much? Why am I owing so much? So I guess something that happened in the last year or two, as far as the tax code goes, changes a lot. And hopefully by this time next year, this conversation will sound entirely different than my bitching and moaning about having to pay Uncle Sam once more. I'll still have all of the debt that I've accrued over the last however many years it's been.
I mean, it's still better than paying a beaver.
Is that a Canadian phrase? I'm not even trying to be funny. I feel like, is that like I've never heard that phrase before.
Well, I mean, you're paying Uncle Sam. I'm paying a beaver.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Which is also named like Justin Trudeau, I guess.
I feel like he's probably called other things than just a beaver.
None of them are appropriate on this stream.
Well, I mean, we've all used all of the words on this stream, but I'm also not going to sit here and bash political leaders.
No, yeah.
Not openly, because that opens up a whole new arena of content that I'm not ready for.
At some point, my tax life will become complicated, but for now, I have a taxable income of like $110 a month, which puts me so far below the poverty line. I don't get taxed on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're like ridiculous.
I don't own property. I don't own a business. I don't collect like tips or any or commissions or any unusual income.
Oh, that's right. You guys have taxable tips.
Listen, Uncle Sam wants his money, man. Listen, I'm gonna put it to you like this:
unless somebody hands you a briefcase with actual physical money in it, you're probably getting taxed for the transaction.
That's a fair bet. And even then, like, if you get a large amount of money, you may have to declare it anyway. Yeah. Not 100%. Listen, I'm going to put it to you this way. The United States, I've heard this is not a legit quote or statistic, but let's just throw it out there as a rough idea. The U.S. has the biggest defense spending plan than like the next 4 or 5 countries combined they need their money to come from somewhere. So they will tax the shit out of you, every American citizen, in every single way they can.
Which is funny because somehow you guys aren't even involved in like any of the like real wars that are happening right now.
No, because it takes an act of Congress to actually declare a war. So what do? Policing actions. And now I'm going to stop talking about it because it's going to get into the political side of things very quick and easy.
I'm here for role playing my poor character's survival return to the ship, man. I'm waiting to run my Marines around to make sure that one doofus over there still has his pants.
I mean, even at the point in the future, in the future 80s that we're playing now,
the future space 80s,
where the Geneva Convention only applies on Earth. The last time the United States or the United Americas had declared war was still World War II.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That's an amazing hat trick to pull off, by the way. All right, let's get into it because otherwise this is going to get too damn real. Real quick, the next thing I want to touch on before I actually hit into the intro, the show intro. Do we have any more roles or anything like that needs to be done for skills and talents and things of that nature? As far as from XP spending.
So
I don't think I have any XP left to spend to have to worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have it in here, and it's going to always be here in this part of the show, just to make sure we don't miss anybody. Oh, I still need to roll if I got, how to beat Kane at a hand of poker talent. I made that one up. Don't look at me like that.
My brain is trying to process, like, what is this? I don't remember this.
I don't remember that talent. Where's that talent? It's not a talent. I just made some shit up. Now watch, some alien RPG guru is going to be like, actually, it's on page 72 of Building Better Worlds. Which we haven't even used
yet. That's what you're looking for. It's banter.
It's specifically Pike that it targets.
Yeah. To talent that's only good for fleecing AWs.
Let's just be clear, my minion already has that talent, so...
Yeah, of course.
All
right, so let's get into it then. It sounds like we are good to go. So, previously on Along the Frontier, we have a bit of a short run-in today. We have a brief firefight in the corridors of the glory of the proletariat, a group huddle between Pike and an old Asian lady, the arrival of the Cheyenne dropship, a massive explosion of the glory, then some dodgy flight maneuvers to evade a UPP destroyer in orbit, and finally, the team returning to the USS Tambatam and leaving behind a jungle moon world. Following, am I reading that, or is that just me reading that for me? Let me see. Alright, so yeah, following the debriefing, once everything aboard the ship calmed down, after escaping a fight with the UPP destroyer, everyone went to bed down as the ship made its way into FTL speeds and away from O'Bannon's world. I actually had to review that one real fast to be sure I wasn't supposed to read that out loud or not. That takes us to what I'm going to call our first shift. An indeterminable amount of time has passed, and you are being woken up from your cryo sleep. Around you, you can see others waking up and getting ready to resume their normal shipboard duties, but for now, it is only your team and, for all intents and purposes, no one you normally interact with. It is just the 5 of you. There is an overhead announcement, or PA announcement, from Mother, announcing that the ship is presently about 8 hours away from Tithonus orbit. There are a few other announcements, but none of them are directed specifically to you guys. Basically, orders for the ship's crew to attend to their stations in preparation for orbital insertion, routine maintenance checks, various things that need to be moved around, etc., etc. Pike, you have a note that has been left for you. It's
as Pike sits up in his cryo tube and briefly stretches and then reaches down and grabs the bag he has between his legs and the cryo tube and gets up and walks over to his locker to hydrate and get dressed.
Yeah.
Grabs this note and looks at it.
I was just gonna say it's probably a sticky note, literally a sticky note, just slapped on the side of your locker. It says Pike on one side, and on the other side it's got a bunch of chicken scrawl. Looks vaguely like Zimborski's handwriting.
Okay, flips it over to read it.
Yeah, he says, next 24 hours is yours. Do what you got to do for you and your team. Weapons maintenance, personnel records updates, physical fitness, team training, etc. You've got until... Oh, I freaking did not write that very well. You have basically until orbit to get all that stuff done, and it's up to you to figure out order of priority and what you guys do in that time. So you've got about 8 hours to kill, and it's your choice on how to kill it.
Does it include anything about those training slots that I asked for?
Refresh my memory, because I, as the GM, don't. I know you had said something about some training time or something, but I don't remember exactly what you were looking for.
Yeah, I asked if he could organize like 20 minutes each for a couple different platoons or sections or whatever around the ship
Okay,
that
yeah.
Simborski might have been able to line up.
No, unfortunately, there is nothing about that. The note's pretty. I mean, it's not a very large sticky, but it doesn't have anything specifically about it. It basically says you've got 8 hours to do what you got to do, and he mentions weapons maintenance, personal records updates, physical training, team training, etc., etc., and that you have until you make orbit to do what you got to do. Choices, and basically, and he ends it with dealer's choice, since I made that poker comment earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, I nearly dodged that one.
For now, you don't know what Zaborski's doing. He might be trying to coordinate that shit right now. Right now, he's not, but he might be.
Yeah. So, he's gonna, we're all gonna go for a run. We're gonna run the halls of the ship before we shower after cryo, so everyone is gonna be extra miserable.
Oh, perfect.
People are trying to recover from the cryo, and I'm like, great, we're gonna run.
What does this look like for Wescott and Winston and Warren and Watts as they're groggily coming to, sitting up? There goes Pike wandering off, dragging his bag that he sleeps with, and then the next thing you know,
it's Gannon's bag.
oh, it's Gannon's back. That's right. Okay,
That's
dragging
his backpack.
yeah, dragging Gannon's backpack with him, and then all of a sudden, like not 30, 45 seconds later, all you hear is Pike say things like, all right, fall in. We're going to go run. What does it look like for
At
you
this
guys?
point,
I make
Yeah.
sure my collection of 3 Marines over there remember their hydration bags as we're about to go around in never-ending fucking circles.
Never ending.
yep.
Yeah, have you ever ran around in a small area? It's not fun.
Yeah, like you've got 5 minutes to get your shoes on and get formed up at the door.
So Winston methodically puts on his stuff and does. I noticed that he has some similarities between Pike and him, between Winston and Pike, and that probably draws into the irony of his like descent into madness.
His descent into pikehood.
Once more, I'm hit with the line. Yes, everything is proceeding exactly as I foreseen.
And yeah, I plan to run us for 20 minutes.
Only
Oh, that's
20?
not so
Come
bad.
on.
Yeah, I mean it's a wake up run.
Yeah.
I've got other stuff I need them to do too.
Oh, that's right. You were in the Air Force. So wake up run for us is like, no, we're running for 45 minutes. Let's go. 6 miles.
No. I got stuff I need to do.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I'm not gonna have them run without me.
No, that would be rude. All right. Talk to me about this run. I mean, you guys have plenty of time to kill and apparently no real guidance. So talk to me about this run. I mean, I know it's a run. Like, there's not. What do you want me to- what do you want me
Warren
to
wake
say?
up with his pants for a change?
I think he went to
Well,
bed.
he
Went to bed with him
with
around his neck.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, didn't he go down with him as a scarf?
Yeah, he did.
Pike's running with Gannon's backpack on. Otherwise,
He's not letting that go.
No. He needs to give it back to Gannon. Gannon was too injured to keep track of his own stuff. He was unconscious.
Just trying to look out for his battle buddy. That's what a good
Yeah,
battle
I
buddy
think
does.
That's a bit too much.
Chain
I think
of
at some point
custody
Winston is
is
going to
not
want to
the
go
same
and check
thing.
him.
Yeah, we'll do the 20-minute run.
We'll
Pike,
end right.
it's like it's not a jog, it's not a shuffle. It's basically 20 minutes of sprints.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah, like we sprint the straightaway in the hallway, and then you do the corridor shuffle, and then we sprint again to the next corner shuffle, and then sprint again.
Yeah, I got you.
Do the karaoke, the side run?
You mean the murder sprints?
Yeah.
So
We
it's
call it karaoke.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's trying to make the most of 20 minutes. And then he'll send everybody back to the showers, let them get some breakfast. And then he's gonna tell everybody to do weapon maintenance, except
We're checking people's names.
Yeah, he couldn't.
I had to pull my sheet up because I've got a bunch of notes.
Yeah, Kane the player couldn't remember who it was that pissed him off last session. That
Well,
he
no,
docked him pay.
It's the fucking W crew, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, he's gonna tell everybody to do weapon maintenance except Winston. We're gonna go to medical and see if Gannon's still there.
Okay. Before you do that, let's check in with Wescott, Warren, and Watts. And what are they doing post shower, grabbing breakfast? Is there anything they want to get into real quick?
Oh, we're doing weapon maintenance. Didn't we just get told to do that?
Yes.
But as we're doing weapon maintenance, because I am sure the other two have much more weapon maintenance to do than I do, I will do a little bit of information collecting on the side.
Yes, because you didn't. I mean, you fired your weapon a fair amount.
Once, maybe twice.
I feel like it was like twice, and you definitely did a full mag dump twice.
Yeah, I mean, I would do my maintenance, but it'd be done expediently, so I could sit there and do side information gathering necessariness.
But as we're leaving, Pike would say that everybody's weapons need to be cleaned except mine. I'll do those when I come back. So it's perfectly clear that you need to make sure that Winston's stuff is also clean because he's got other stuff to do.
Oh, you're gonna take Winston all the way out of wet. Oh Jesus, the W's, man. Taking Winston all the way out of weapons maintenance. Jesus, I don't know why.
I look at Warren and I go, "He's your buddy."
That's how that
the
goes.
The other part is Watts has multiple weapons he has to manage.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can get that. I'm okay with that. Warren just kind of goes, "Okay, cool."
As I'm staring at them both, making sure that they. Okay, I have no real concerns about Watts putting together a weapon with his criminal-esque background. I keep an eye on Warren because I very rarely get a chance to sit here and watch him do the maintenance myself.
Oh yeah, is he gonna cut some corners?
Well, a good team lead and a good squad leader is definitely going to be checking weapons before they turn him over to the section leader for his verification.
Yep, and then once everybody does it, we'll trade to double check.
Oh yeah. Well, you have your buddy check your weapon before you take it to anybody important.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of eyeballs that get thrown on there. All right, let's talk to Winston and Pike. What does this?
Oh, and out of paranoia, we check all of the ammo too.
Oh,
if we have to put our hands on ammo. I'm assuming we probably wouldn't because that'd be locked up separately. But if we did, we would double check to make sure we don't have any more of those weird simulation rounds.
Oh no, those simulation
rounds. Because I'm now forever paranoid about random things getting mixed in after we've had to cover that.
No, the simulation round bit you're talking about all the way back in episode 1, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was only because for that exercise, that exercise was an intentional exercise. You were only meant to get sim rounds and sim trainers and all that. Once you left there and joined up with the 33rd MU, all you have is live rounds and live boom booms and whatnot. Unless Pike specifically requests non-live shit for anything.
As far as Pike knows, this ship does not carry sim rounds.
Yeah, your training is live all the time. Now you did say something about you wanted to try to fish out some information while the guys are cleaning up weapons and whatnot.
Yep.
What information?
Because I had the least. I don't know how long we've been asleep, so just general information gathering of the area in general for sure, and I probably won't have time to do anything beyond that.
So just a general feel for.
I literally am scraping up the news to see if there's any useful tidbits for context.
Okay. Go ahead and make an observation roll for me.
Okay.
It is observation, yes? Is that the right skill I was looking for?
Well, I mean, I am actually
mean-
just looking in general for information. I'm not trying any particular hackiness. I'm literally skimming the news as we're
Well,
going
so
along.
basically what you do is as you're making your way around from the showers to the mess facility to the weapons lockers to the the area that you and your team set up to clean weapons in, you try to interact with as many people outside of your little squad as much as you can to try to find out what's
Oh.
going on. Unfortunately, you
Mhm.
don't get a whole lot of information. The most scuttlebutt that you're able to pick up is that sometime after leaving O'Bannon's world, your ship has been redirected from wherever it was going to go to, which you didn't know at the time, and has been redirected to the Tithonus base, which, for clarity slash memory's sake, and you would know this in character, Tithonus is a major headquarters area for one of the major commands for the Marines. If I recall correctly, without looking back in the book, there's like 5 or 6 major commands, and Tithonus is one of them, as far as like where the headquarters. And so, for whatever reason, effectively, you guys have been sent back to like basically division headquarters. It's actually a little bit larger than that, but that's all you can. That's all you're able to pick up on that from that role.
I mean, all the
Yeah,
operations
I-
for this like third of space are
Yeah.
handled at that place. So
Yeah.
it's a big
Yeah.
place.
I'm assuming I was going to be doing it on the computer, but I would have after I've had the loop around. So I would probably do the secondary computer check as they're actually sitting.
Okay. Do you want to do that now, or you want to come back around?
I'll just rule it real quick in case I have some. Never mind. I'm not pushing that. I'm glad that I was just looking for the news.
Yeah. I hope that's not my
Doing
end.
anything important. I'm just gonna.
No, it's not your end.
Okay, I hate to say that about somebody, but after the tech problems I was having last week, and then everything in between seeming to be fine, the fact that I'm sitting here listening to somebody basically vocally depixelate, I was like, ugh, please don't be just me. You came in a little bit garbled on that last little bit, but because you didn't get any successes on trying to catch up with the local space CNN, yeah, it doesn't really give you anything that, like, all the news you get is like, it's either you could tell almost immediately it's going to be like a few weeks out of date, or there's nothing really important. It's like, oh, some celebrity was in a car crash, but they're expected to recover, and you're like, I don't really like him as an actor. He sucks. It's too wooden, and his action on screen is always wooden and fake. Just no real. But for some reason, he's popular. You know, probably because he's like super handsome. Totally not thinking about Brad Pitt right now. I'm joking when I say that. I'm joking. Brad Pitt's not that bad. Winston and Pike. You guys are going to have a little one-on-one moment here. Take it away, Sergeant Pike.
I guess while we're walking to medical,
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry. I was thinking you guys were going to have a sit-down, and I forgot you were going to go see Gannon. Go ahead.
so the stuff the old woman talked about. Those names she said?
What names?
Exactly.
For the viewers, the names he's referring to were Life Force and Darkstar. There might have been one other name in there, but it would have been like Camacho or whatever. Not Camacho. Whatever his name was.
So, I in player verse know kind of what it is that was going on with that, but in character don't think that Winston has much of an idea what Darkstar or the other one was. So I'm just trying to like
We're
yeah.
not whatever they are, we're not read in, and we don't know anything that requires us to report it. It'll make your life easier to just forget you heard those names unless we get read in on something.
Okay. So we just follow the plan. We don't report their existence other than they were UAP.
I mean, the changes we talked about are the ones we'll do. Those program names you and I heard were not read in, so we didn't hear that.
Okay.
Um, it'll, yeah. I mean, the alternative is you mentioned that you heard those names, and then depending on what they're attached to, we don't know anything damaging anyways, but that's weeks of your time being spent sitting around getting interviewed and interrogated and interviewed and interrogated. It's a waste of your time.
And we have too much to do.
I mean, there's a fight. You don't want to miss it, do you?
Well, no, not really. I do hope Gannon is doing a lot better.
I hope so too.
Yeah, he kind of had a broken neck from what I could tell.
Well, from everything I saw, you did a damn good job with him.
Hmm. Yeah, well, he made it off the planet, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, damn good job, despite his best efforts. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking.
He wasn't.
When in a stressful situation, some people act in very strange ways.
Cannot disagree.
Is there any more conversing you guys want to do before you actually enter the medical or sick bay? Or shall we, do the what's AP call it? It's not Herc and Jerk. I can't think of the damn actor's name. Andy Serkin or something like that. The walk and talk.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, is there anything else that Winston has for Pike before we get there?
yeah. Let me think. No, I don't think at this time. He wants to stress that, like, in stressful situations, people act strange.
Okay.
And that's where he leaves it.
All right. So when you enter sick bay, do you have Gannon's backpack like over an arm or something like that, right? Kane.
Yeah, keeping it on my person.
Okay. When you show up, the
It's
first
got
thing
his
you go ahead.
it's got his pups and everything. We recovered those. We had time.
Yeah. You definitely had time. When you arrive in sick bay, you'll see that there is one section that's, kind of curtained off a little bit, but you could see what is very obviously the bunk or the rack or whatever, the pod, probably more accurately, the pod that Pike is probably in. And there's a nurse standing nearby with like an electronic key, Jesus Christ, electronic clipboard, checking notes and whatnot. When you approach, the nurse turns to you and he says, "Hey, Sergeant Pike, right?
Yes.
Awesome. You were the team lead for this op that this civilian went on. Got a
I want
couple quick.
to look at the nurse's uniform to see rank.
Oh, he's probably like an E2 or 3. I don't know what the Navy. I don't know what the United America's Navy rank would be for that. Probably just
Okay.
like a basic corpsman probably.
Yeah, I mean, we're all Marines here. It's
Yeah.
all Marine stuff.
Well, he's
so
he's probably. Well, I feel like he's probably more Navy than Marine, but maybe I could be wrong too.
I mean, this is also Future Space 80s written by people who had no idea. So everybody, for the way that they've written it, everybody on the ship is a Marine, even if they're crew of a ship. So
yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah,
like,
so he definitely. I mean, he's not gonna. He's gonna.
yeah.
Also, he's not going to be like completely oblivious to military protocol. He would have addressed you as Sergeant Pike.
Yeah. I am private. What do you need?
Oh, I just had a couple questions for my report that I need to get turned into Mother. I'm showing fractured vertebrae in the neck and a severe laceration, including a partial severing of the jugular. Does that jive with what you recall happening on the ground?
I look over at Winston. That seemed consistent with what you treated?
Yeah, I mean, whether or not what had actually affected him slashed his neck, or was it the impact, I'm not 100% on that.
Well, I mean, looking at some of these X-rays and scans, it looks like the neck, the fractured vertebrae definitely from impact of something. the laceration, that could have been anything, tree, branch, or rocks, or you know how it is. And you get moving fast enough that something catches you in the right angle, and now you got a wide open hole. And
No,
you're a
those are
medic,
the
so you know how that works.
yeah. Well, those are the injuries that we were. Those are the injuries that we're expecting to be hearing about.
Okay. All right. Well, and I imagine you guys are here just to check on him. Were you expecting him to be awake? I imagine.
Expectation's a strong word. I was hoping he's awake, and yeah, I'd like to know how he's doing.
Well, we've got him forcibly. Not. I shouldn't say forcibly. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Medically induced coma.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. Medically induced coma.
Forcibly would include a hammer.
Yeah, or like restraints of some sort. It looks like they were able to preserve his life or save his life. Looks like he'll be fine. We're just keeping him medically sedated until he's on the surface, where the local medical team will have a better chance of reviving him and making sure all is good to go.
So
I
he's
have
he's scheduled to be offloaded when we get to Titan?
yes, along with all his personal gear and
Okay.
any equipment that was assigned to him. In fact,
Do
he
you have
kinda-
do you have a point of contact that all of his stuff's supposed to be turned into?
yes, actually, I am the point of contact. He starts fishing around in his pockets and he pulls out like a piece of paper that definitely looks very much official military ease paperwork, indicating that he is indeed to collect. I almost said Pike. Collect Ganon's personal effects, secure them, and then assist with the transport to the planet's surface.
If I look it over, does it mention like the medic's instructions for classified material?
Just collect, throw it all. Effectively, what it says is throw it all in a single box or whatever. It doesn't specify anything regarding classified or unclassified. It's just collect into one location and secure. And then it actually has like a space for like serial numbers to be written in for like serial numbers for locks or seals or what have you.
All right, I can give you most of his stuff, but you're probably going to want to reach out to who issued these and let them know that an amendment needs to be made for classified material.
He looks down at the signature block and he's like, I think you would have a better time getting a hold of General Delilah Vaughn. Delilah? It's Delilah, isn't it?
Yeah, he just there's a pause and he says, "Oh, okay, Private. Do you have a copy of that I can have?"
I can get you one.
Okay.
Yeah, all the forms come in triplicate.
Well, I feel like if this is like future space 80s, there is definitely paperwork in manila folders all over the place. Whereas if it was any, 20 years later, it's all data chips and cards. But yeah, he can get you a copy. And he literally goes over to the copy machine nearby. Like, off to one side, there's probably like a CMO's office. And there's a photocopier in there, and he makes a quick copy of it for you.
All right. I'll take care of the request if you want to make a note that I have his bag with some effects that may be classified.
I can give it to the CMO when they wake up.
I just want to make sure you can cover your own ass since I'm
No,
not giving you
no,
a bag.
no. I mean, my security training is effectively limited to the range of the sick bay. So, no, that makes a lot of sense to me. I'm just a dumbass PV2. I don't even know if PV2s exist in the Marines. I think they're Lance Corp, or I mean, PFCs. But
Okay, I mean, you're doing you. I'll take care of this.
okay,
But I mean, other than him being in a coma, is he stable?
I mean, he seems stable. Honestly, I mean, obviously, I'm not a doctor. I think I think once he wakes up, he'll be fine. But I think this is more erring on the side of caution. But
Sure.
I do what the doctors tell me to do.
Yeah,
CMO
it's
said
fair.
keep him sedated. If we keep him sedated,
Hey, it's his med bay. It's not mine.
indeed. But I will let the CMO know that you got some of his effects that you have security concerns over. Maybe once we get in orbit, we'll have more answers.
Do
CMO's
I
not supposed to be
see-
woken up until later this afternoon.
Do I
Sure.
see the half corpse?
I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. One more time.
Do I see the half corpse that's laying on the bed?
Yeah,
Or in the pod?
he's in a sleep pod.
Okay.
There's of course the vitals readout on a screen nearby.
All right.
Yeah,
Can I
and
glance?
yeah, it's obvious. It wouldn't be that hard to reposition or whatever, so you can actually take a look at it, and you'll note that it does appear to be vitals are sedated but nominal.
All right. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. It's clear he is under the effects of the cryo sleep, but other than that, he's fine. Everything seems fine. How are you?
Great.
Pike looks over and says, "You good?"
Yeah, I think everything looks pretty good here.
All right.
So are you keeping his whole bag? Or are you gonna just like take the PDAT
Yeah.
or
I'm gonna keep the whole bag.
Okay.
So I don't know what else he might have. I don't know if any of the information that got mapped out by the
Yeah.
pups is going to
Like
be
the
classified.
data, the data on there is gonna be classified. The PDAT's obviously gonna be classified. Or
Yeah.
presumably. I think what happens is the nurse makes a note on his paperwork that you are holding the bag, and then he has you do like a quick layout of the bag so that he can inventory what's in it. And that way, when he tells the CMO what's going on, the CMO has more information to work with. And this sergeant came in with just a backpack full of stuff.
Yeah, no. If he, if it makes this medic's life easier,
Yeah.
when he has to give the disappointing news that he wasn't able to collect everything,
When he has to tell the sir no.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll bag drag the whole thing with him. I'm just gonna leave everything turned off and locked. I'll just be like,
Yeah.
Here's, one pup's case, open it up, there's, these pups are in it.
Yep,
One
exactly.
PDAT, serial number, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's
I'll-
looking for.
Yeah, I'll sit down and do all that with him. I'm just not gonna let him touch it or turn anything on.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, he seems quite I guess agreeable would be the right word to that.
And I'll sign his hand receipt.
Yeah. Sign his note. You'll put it there. Come see me if you have questions, CMO. Okay. Anything else? You've got probably another, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours to kill. What do you want to do?
Okay, so I'll get back. I'm gonna check on the status of the weapons maintenance. If it's not done yet, then
Which is probably going spectacularly.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go back. This my weapons maintenance isn't going to be done yet. So
No.
Now,
we'll
you
sit down.
might have spent an hour getting down to the sick bay, conversing
wish-
with the nurse, dumping the bag, filling it back up. That might have been an hour.
Yeah, so we'll get back. We'll finish the weapon maintenance so I can do mine as well.
Is there a conversation going on between anybody as you're, cleaning out rifle barrels and disassembling, cleaning, and reassembling weapon parts?
I mean,
Yeah,
there's what is there anything that Warren would bring up in particular?
Warren would bring up the fish that made its way to Watts's leg, and was like, "Well, I was gonna cook that for like dinner, but I don't even know where it ended up."
Several pieces, some over there, some over there.
And I think all back on the planet.
No. So we'd already declared that we were going to bring them back. So
Did
they
you?
went on. We did.
Oh, the fish!
Yeah, the
He's
fish
so-
went on ice with us so that they wouldn't go bad.
He's so happy.
Well, there you go. I guess you guys got a fish fry to go to now.
So we can still have our team building meal before we arrive in orbit.
My gosh, I hope we remember to put that crate in the freezer.
Yeah,
I feel like that was I don't know what I
They
have
got put
zero
in- they got
memory
put
of
in the
this, but I'm
pods
gonna
with us.
allow it.
Yeah.
They got
Yeah.
put in the pods with us. I took the backpack. Some of y'all put fish in your pods with you.
I think we can retcon
Oh
that.
God.
I think we can retcon that
can
to
bag
they
them.
were literally put on ice in the mess facility.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
they got put on ice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we declared our
Um,
intention to collect them up and cook them. So
We must have
brought them
missed that
back.
part somehow.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
it was
so
banter on
I
the
turned to
show.
Watts. I turned to Watts as far as Warren is concerned, and I go, yeah. So pretty excited about that fish. Really, I'm sure that the taste of your leg is gonna make it so much tenderer.
Watts gives you this look going. "Ugh, I wonder if we can get away with some beer too.
Oh, that'd
Maybe
be
a couple
great.
games of cards.
Yeah, okay.
He's
Yeah.
sitting here planning on all the people
Nodding.
he can fleece.
You
Watts
got
is
paid.
actually starting making serious plans about acquiring all the accoutrement for amazing downtime meal. He is going full out. He will acquiring with air quotes if necessary.
Oh, it won't be air quotes. It'll be with dice rolls.
Oh, he is going to, because that is his primary agenda, is downtime activities
That's right.
and
Yeah.
blowing off steam. So
Oh, yeah.
he will actually be that person who gets himself in trouble for going for his agenda because he wants some beer with his fish fries. And I'm
Oh,
assuming that's not
don't
something that
worry.
just lies around.
Pike
So-
plans to fully utilize that skill.
I bet he does.
I've also
So,
got some paperwork shenanigans to do when we get back.
Yeah, so I'm assuming we're still cleaning weapons, but we're making verbal plans for what we're about to do. And
Yeah.
I am very carefully not hearing Watts's and Warren's discussion about how they're planning to acquire recreational activities.
Oh boy. So you're trying not to listen to this. And Pike is like, he's got his sniper rifle pulled apart and he just looks over and says, so we've got the fish. And we've got trophies to trade with supply to get booze.
Hmm.
The dog tags
Over
and
here,
whatnot.
when Pike comes in, the tone changes. I was very carefully trying to let my peons have time for peon discussions, okay?
I wanted to have a conversation between Ward and Wescott, if possible.
Mhm.
So like
Go for it.
after
Yeah.
like mentioning the tenderness of fish at some point, I turned to Wescott. So how do you think we did during this whole fracas of a situation? I mean,
I think we probably got a couple feathers in our caps for making it all back alive. I
Okay.
mean, we got shot out of the sky, we got enemy engagement, we had explosive ship problems,
I did forget about
random
the floating
miscellaneous
ship.
unidentified creatures.
Yeah. I did forget about
Yeah.
the ship getting shot out of the sky. I feel like the whole trek just kind of like dulled that note.
I feel like we're probably going to be remembering that after our bodies catch up with the oh dear god, ow, we fell out of the sky moments, like tomorrow after we're finishing thawing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you will feel that later. Cryosleep
Okay.
just delayed the pain. You'll get used to it, I guess. But yeah, it's I think we did good. I just am imagining the stack of after action paperwork. Did we do that before we went to sleep, or I'm assuming we're doing that after, since we were in firefight?
I think there was like maybe an hour or two. So I think the biggest thing really was after you guys got back to the ship, you spent some time doing the whole evade and escape thing, and then you
Yeah,
had
I
a
don't
little
think
more
we actually got
time.
time to do our
Yeah.
actual after action reports.
Yeah.
You did after action brief, and that was about it.
Mhm.
I'm expecting that after we meet back up and we finish the weapon maintenance and Pike starts giving people things to do. Well,
Mhm.
like the first 20 minutes of that is going to be people finishing up and putting together their after actions and sending them to Pike to put together.
All right, so does Warren have to roll anything to successfully clean a rifle?
I'm debating making you guys roll heavy machinery just to see what your initial. Well, yeah, you know what? We'll do that. So everybody cleaning a weapon is going to need a quick heavy machinery roll. This is just for your initial assessment of, okay, I think I did a good job. Let me go ahead and start taking a hard look at this before you pass it off to Pike. All right, so that was Watts. You have a success. Your weapon is clean. It's nominally clean, but it's clean.
Oh,
And that was Wescott rolling.
Wescott and Warren.
Oh, and Warren. Okay. Oh, Warren's weapon is not only is it well cleaned, it's exactly correctly lubricated.
Well,
can I
he
take
also
the
has to
extra-
do Winston's too.
Yeah, can I take the extra and just get Winston's also done, and then be like,
Yeah, they'll both be nominally clean.
okay,
We can do that. Is Pike wanting to make a roll as well?
Yeah, sure.
Pike knows what he's
How long is
doing.
it going to take us to clean our guns? More that
This is usually like in the real world, it takes a couple of hours to get these things well cleaned. Pike has done a I am the NCO, I must set the example level of completion. Is that everybody? I feel like that is.
that's everybody.
Okay. Yeah. So a couple hours go by, weapons are cleaned up. One or two of them might be well maintained as well as cleaned up. But so now it's if we were to go with, you woke up around 9 or 10, it's probably around noon now.
All right. So, why don't you guys sit down for the next 20 minutes, put together your after action thoughts, then send them over to me. Uh,
I can see it now.
Watts was
Watts.
the one who is the gambler, right?
And yes, he already has a paper notebook going on the side with ideas of how to acquire stuff.
Stuff. Not stuff.
I'm
Stuff.
just doing like illicit alcohol plus other miscellaneousness. That would be entertaining.
Yeah. So I'll all right. So yeah, after we've
And
taken those 20
he
minutes,
would write his stuff on paper so it could be
Easily
not worried
destroyed.
about in the electronic systems. Yes, that too.
all right. So Watts.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Sergeant Pike.
With the offer of some of this fish, and if they drive a real hard bargain, tell them that there's a trophy that don't make it the initial offer. If they play hardball, there's a trophy in it as well. Go down to the quartermaster deck, get us some alcohol.
Oh, his eyes get super excited. He's already scatted out the ship. That's what he did last time he was on the ship. He knows where shit is. He has an entire list of who to talk to and how to talk to him and anything he's managed to pick up for. Yeah. He pulls out his notebook and he says, yeah, I mean, I know that these couple of quartermasters have a thing for this type of thing. And I know that these two over here would probably appreciate it.
I know this is your thing. Just go do it.
I'm not worried about the particulars. I'm
Yeah.
worried about I'm worried about results.
Yes.
I'm just going to be real disappointed.
He is very excited
if we're eating this fish sober. So just go.
he goes, and not only does he do that, he brings back the appropriate fish seasonings and cornbread too.
Well, hold on before you let's get that roll in there. I need a manipulation to represent this conversation with various people.
You do some weird fish.
So it won't be Watts, but who's going to be our chef? Who's going to cook this fish?
What kind of
Because I'm going to
Warden
be
seemed
doing
like the
paperwork.
most excited about the fish.
All right.
You want to push that for Watts? You're on the ship for 24 hours, so. Yeah. All right. I will, because I like the idea. Watts will come back with something. What he comes back with is not good stuff. He comes back with a case of. Kane, have you seen 45? The military special alcohol bottles?
Oh.
He comes back with case beer, one each.
Okay. It's beer. He accomplished his task.
But he when he shows up, he says, yeah, I'm going to need that trophy. And if I don't get that to the supply guy, he is going to legitimately have my ass.
All right. We'll fix it.
Okay. All right.
And Warren was going to be the one making the fish.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the most excited about it. So
no, that makes sense. Is there anything you guys want to do before you get to roughly dinner time? So like roughly, let's say 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon until 4 o'clock or so.
Okay, so want him to cook, want him to get the beer. I'm doing a ton of paperwork. I got to put together the after action, and um, I'm putting together an achievement package
Okay.
for Watts and a commendation for Wescott.
Okay.
Um,
Does the rules inquire, or excuse me, do the rules require a roll of any sort for that, or is that just straight up RP'd out?
there's nothing in the books about doing any of
Okay.
this.
Okay.
So I'm putting those together. What is Szymborski's policy on? Because I've been with him for a bit.
Yeah, probably. Like, I
Uh,
think we established something like at least 2 years or something like that.
yeah. So what is like? Is he one of those supervisors that's like you can have the best performance review that you've written or the worst one that I've written? Or does he do all of those things himself?
I'm gonna go with what I wish my leadership would have done, which is if you're supposed to be rating somebody, you rate that person, and if you're supposed to be rated by somebody, they're supposed to rate it, not any of the other permutations that might actually happen in the real world. Like, for instance, writing my own NCOER. We're not gonna talk about that.
Ooh.
Okay. So Pike will yeah, that's what Pike will put up. If
Yeah.
Szymborski wants to give me something, then it's his MO to decide and write it.
Yep, exactly.
Um,
And he obviously can't really do anything until he actually sees your guys'
right, yeah.
reports and whatnot.
So yeah, I'll put together the achievement package and the commendation package.
Okay.
I'll also put together the after action report. And I'll send those off. I'll also put together the paperwork for a counseling for
Ooh.
Winston.
I don't know what form the Air Force used, but I remember DA form 4856 very, very, very well. Mostly because I had to write a lot of them.
So for this, at least it's going to be it's a memorandum, so
Okay.
that I can put it in with his pay.
Ooh! Did he just get hit with an NCO memorandum of record?
Yeah, he just got MFR'd. And it's so at some point while the cooking is going on, and this in the little side space that Pike has to do his paperwork in, he'll like open the shitty little side door and be like, "Hey, Winston, come here."
All right, before Winston
Yeah,
goes
he
in there,
goes.
let's go ahead and get this. How well do you cook up this alien fish roll? I'm gonna go with heavy machinery, unless you can give me a different reason, or excuse me, a reason to use a different skill.
I feel like survival is in the name. We're gonna have to eat some weird fish.
You know what? Let me see what survival says on here. We just.
I mean, it's for considering that being able to safely feed yourself is going to be part of surviving in an adverse
I feel like
environment.
I feel like survival does is a better chance, or makes more sense, I should say, than heavy machinery in this particular case because you are cooking a fish you've never even seen before from a whole ass other planet before, and you're gonna try to cook it in such a way that it won't kill you and your friends. So go ahead and make me that survival roll and see if anybody comes up with tetanus. You may want to push that.
Yeah,
I do want to push that. Here we are.
Oh dear. Okay.
Have we succeeded at a roll yet? I mean, I guess so.
The
But
weapon cleaning rolls.
a lot of bad rolls so far.
Yeah, so I would be doing something before we get to dinner as well.
Okay.
Doing the test.
I mean, I've got something we're gonna do before we sit down and eat.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's probably calling a priest to bless this food. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's do Wescott first.
You know how we brought back a bunch of science experiments? I want to see our box
crate
full
of acidic products.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Our box of acidic science experiments. I'm kind of curious to see the status of said box and if the science people have picked it up yet.
Okay.
It's a personal curiosity thing.
So you go to. I think you start your investigation, as it were, in the
flight deck where I strapped him
yeah,
down?
I was thinking flight deck. I was thinking evidence locker, but you guys aren't a police department, so you don't have one of those. But this is probably the closest. It's probably on the flight deck. So you go where the last place you saw it, and the
Gotta go
cabinet.
make sure my hazard warning tape is still on there if it's still there.
Oh, it's all removed. The hazard tape is gone. The locker that you had it in is left open, or I shouldn't say open, but like I imagine there's like instead of like closing the door or it's open swinging freely, it's like a sliding door. It's slid open and locked in the open position. Your gear is not in there. Whatever you had placed in this cabinet or locker or whatever.
All the alien bodies.
Oh yeah, all the alien bodies and parts and whatnot are not. You see the acid burns, where maybe a couple of drops had hit the inside of the locker and whatnot. So it was indeed there. It's not there anymore.
I mean, I would just do a quick search to see if it's a note of it getting moved around. I'm assuming it went into science people land, but I'm trying to lay the groundwork so I can collect information on what the fuck that shit was later.
Yeah. So do you want to just head straight to? I can't imagine a warship having much of a science lab, but do you want to head straight there, or do you want to go somewhere else, or do something else, or how do you want?
No, I'm just gonna check on it real quick because
Okay.
I want to make sure that
The closest thing that's probably on the ship is medical quarantine.
That's what I was thinking too. Is something in that area. So yeah, you go.
I would go check the
you go to sick bay.
The obvious ones.
Yeah, you go to sick bay, and you check in with the same nurse. You wouldn't know that this is the same nurse they talk to. It's a safe bet if you were to think about it, but it's the same nurse. Dude looks up. He looks like he's got a stack of paperwork that he has to work his way through. It looks like a lot of triplicate, but he's handwriting a lot of stuff, and he's like transcribing a lot of serial numbers back and forth from one document to a couple others. And he looks up and he says, "Hey, what can I do for you, Corporal?"
Just checking to see if our acidic hazmat crate was appropriately dealt with because it's no longer in the storage locker.
The extraterrestrial stuff. Yeah, they put that in medical quarantine earlier this morning after we came out of FTL. Was there something you needed to add to it, or what's?
No, just personal curiosity.
Good.
I mean, it did try to eat my
I don't have to
face
open it back up. You know how long it took me to get all the seals and then write down all the stupid serial numbers for that?
Yeah. I'm the one who went a little over the top with the hazmat tape. Sorry.
Well, nothing about
I figured it was inappropriate.
But once we inventoried it, we had to seal it all back up, of course. I barely got that done. I'm surprised nobody got burned by that shit. But yeah,
it's pretty
your
bad.
sergeant was in here earlier.
Oh. Yeah, and I look around. I'm like, yeah, probably checking on Gannon, right?
Yeah, that's what they were here for. He's knocked out. We're gonna keep him that way until we get to Tithanis. But yeah, all your stuff, it's all over there. Please, I can't open it. It's already sealed. It's gonna be moved down to the planet later. Obviously, if we open it, I have to reseal it, which means all this other paperwork I have to do. Please. No. He's almost got a begging, pleading look in his eyes.
Of the I don't want to do the paperwork.
Well, just I don't want to have to do all of that all over again. But you're a corporal, so if you tell me to open it, I have to open it.
No, I'm not. No, I just wanted to make sure it got put up properly.
Nope, all safely secured. So again, surprised nobody got burnt on that shit because
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what the science boys from Typhus say.
I don't know if they would say anything to us. They do their sciencey things and tell others, I guess. I don't know how it works. The guy that works in that office right there, I report to him. That's all I know.
I feel that pain. Well, I'll get out of your hair and good luck with the paperwork.
Oh, yes. Lots of shuffles from the corners of all the pages. Lots of paperwork. Where to? Or does that satisfy your...
just following it up with curiosity because it was entertaining to me.
Right. Winston and Pike. Formal counseling session, I believe. Take it away.
So, just because it's a warship, everything's going to be cramped in here. I'm imagining that it's like there's this little tiny broom closet type office for doing paperwork and shit in. So like giant Pike is sitting behind this tiny desk.
in this tiny ass room. Fat man in a little coat.
Yeah. Yeah, he calls Winston into the micro office.
Yes, Sergeant Pike.
I want to hear in your words what the fuck happened with those prisoners.
Honestly, I put two and two together. I realized they were sick, and I realized there was something wrong. I tried to, I guess, mention that to Warren. I got flustered, and then I headed out.
Why'd you leave him?
Um, he was supposed to follow me, but I guess by the time I was out of the room, he had stayed. I'm not really sure.
So, leaving your battle buddy alone is absolutely unacceptable.
Yes, and he very well could have died because of my actions.
Yeah. And based on what we found when we went back in there, he very nearly did.
Yes.
Did you talk to him about it yet?
No, he hasn't brought it up yet.
Because he's busy trying to find beer and fish.
No, that's
Sorry.
all right.
I feel like he would have had a couple minutes to think about that, but
Oh, yeah.
um,
Please continue. Don't let me
kind of-
interrupt.
All right. So I'm gonna make this real simple. This was your first mission, your first combat mission. I don't know too much about your life before this, but seeing how you handled yourself in the training scenario versus how you handled real shit. I understand that your job is a cursed one. Out of everybody here, you have to save lives while taking them. It's not lost on me.
hmm.
But part of joining a combat unit, part of being in the field, you're not a nurse. You don't work in a med bay. You're a killer. We're all here to be killers. And that means that those prisoners are not worth more than your battle buddy. No prisoner will ever be worth more than your battle buddy.
Understood. And I want to take this moment to roll an empathy roll.
Light side, dark side.
Yeah.
That's a great time after he just said that. It's a great time to make that roll. Go for it.
Yeah. So it's just a straight empathy roll, wasn't it?
I believe that's
Yeah.
all it was. Yeah.
Don't roll stress dice.
Correct. Ooh, failure.
Uh,
Another point towards the Pikeness.
Yep. I was just
There's
gonna say.
just one left. There's just one left, and I'm saving that last one for a moment.
Oh, there'll be plenty. There'll be plenty of those.
No, but I mean, like, there's only one left before like he joins Pike.
Before he falls to the dark side and he gets his
'cause
Darth name.
He's at 4 failures right now. He's at 4 failures.
And what, one success, I think?
Yep.
I can hear
Right.
Palpatine cackling in the background.
Yes. Come. Let the hate flow.
So given that this is your first combat mission, and you're gonna have a harder transition to this than the other Marines, I'm gonna go light on you. This is your only time that I'm gonna go light on you. You're losing your next month's pay, and I'm putting a memorandum in your record. It's not gonna say that you abandoned your battle buddy, because there's a specific process for that, and it is less than pleasant to you and your future in the Marines. I'm going to put down that you had a stress-related incident and it reduced your combat effectiveness. That it put Marines' lives in danger, and that's about as far as the record will go.
Thank you, sir.
Don't do it again. I take your lies very seriously, and I expect all of you to take them as seriously as I do.
Deep breath and
Get out of my
yes, I will definitely get out of your office.
And meanwhile,
sir.
in my head, all I hear is Roger that.
office.
Yeah. Roger, Roger.
And I think that will take us right up to dinner time / a
Poison
slight
time.
rumbling in the ship, indicating that your ship is now burning to what orbital dynamics and other people know as a circularization burn. In other words, you have just arrived in orbit around Tithonus. But dinner is served as per the normal mess schedule. Dinner tonight is, of course, the cornbread that is ever present and spaghetti and meatballs. But coinciding with that is, of course, your guys'
our flatfish.
your trichomoniasis. What is it? Trichomoniasis? A fucking food poisoning fish. I can't think of what the other one is. I can't think of it. There was a word I was going for, but I can't think of how many syllables it has. So here's what I suggest.
Our incredibly stellar, epically bad quality beer.
Oh yeah, it is so horrible. It is like it tastes like it's like getting a non-alcoholic Coors Light.
Oh.
I love the look on Rodance's face. That was fucking perfect. Fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
That sounds as bad as non-alcoholic whiskey.
It's basically it's almost like a White Claw, except there's no flavor, and there's just enough alcohol to give you a headache after 2 or 3.
Yeah, we'll sit down, and as we're getting ready to eat, like Pike will hold up his can of piss
Beer,
water
generic, one each.
and say, "To surviving your first mission."
We survived.
Yeah, and then after we do our can clinks, he'll toss out to everybody a copy of the like a drive of some kind that's got the video clip of the explosion with everybody in it and all, so they can have it and do what they want with them.
Oh,
Nice.
Nice.
Because I would
It
have had to go
immediately gets-
through and I would have had to go through and like clip out sections of relevant stuff for our after actions and from our video feeds, so I could submit those clips up as well.
Yeah.
So is there something that Winston can do to check the validity of this fish, or is Warren just going to be the one who's going to eat it and then get really sick?
No, everybody that eats the fish needs to make a stamina roll.
Okay.
Oh,
Ooh. Wow, who's got 19 dice? No, I can't. Oh, that was 2 people at once. Okay.
Yeah,
Pike is good,
I rolled
Winston is
9
good.
dice and got 1 success.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I don't
Oh,
have people
wow.
listening.
Wow, Watts.
Watts is good.
Watts is like, yo, give me some more of that.
All right.
Warren
Watts
is
has
good.
been-
Oh, you got a panic roll though. Go ahead and make that panic roll. I just want to see what happens. Okay. I think what happens is Warren is like,
Nothing.
I think Warren gets like 2 or 3 mouthfuls into the fish, and he's like, oh god, oh god, oh my god, oh, and he gets it down, and you see for a moment he's got the coughing and the out of breath, like he's about to throw it all up because he realizes that either he just feels like he knows he did something wrong with the fish, or maybe he shouldn't have eaten it at all. But Warren
Yeah,
is the
he's just
only
thinking
one.
the-
He keeps it together. He kept it together.
Yeah.
So he doesn't actually get sick, but you definitely, everybody else looking at Warren sees that paleness, the change in skin tone, and everybody's like, everybody else is just chowing down. Like Wescott is devouring this shit. Wescott, like, this is the best fried fish I've had in like at least a year. Definitely better than that breaded bullshit they served back on whatever planet was y'all came from.
Whatever backwater.
Yeah. Otherwise, Pike wants to turn this into, just like a team building thing, right? Like he's gonna share a funny story about some epic failure and that he watched, and sort of encourage
An
other
epic
people to
failure
share
that
fun
he
stories.
watched, not that he did.
Yeah, that he saw. Don't there was a Marine I had before you guys, and boy, let me tell you how much he fucked up.
You think pantsless over here was a bad day?
And then yeah, like you just tell funny stories and encourage everyone else to tell funny stories and try to make it a relaxing bonding thing.
What about the rest of you?
And he does make a note of like when he sits down and after he does the toast, like he takes his top off. So he's symbolically taking his rank off for the sitting down and the eating.
And since it is the Space 80s, that is a real thing. If this was not the Space 80s, that's not really a thing. Not as much as you might think. No, it's not as much of a thing as you think it is.
Yeah.
What about the rest of you? Warren and Wescott and Watts and Winston. What about the rest of you guys? What are you doing to add to this team building moment?
Warren keeps it together, eats the fish, and regrets just the whole situation. He's so upset with himself. Winston is just like, okay, all right, this is definitely fish.
I've had fish before. This tastes like that.
Yeah, it's fish-like.
Pike took a bite and then grabbed the ketchup and doused it in ketchup. They just kept eating.
Wescott takes a bite. She takes a moment. She goes to her locker, grabs some of her snack stash, comes back with the extra spicy chips, hands some to everyone.
And suddenly this is not just a fish fry, but this is like a smorgasbord of fish fry stuff. But this is a great team building moment that everybody's going to remember for years. Hey, remember that time Warren fucked up making fish, but we all ate it anyway just so he wouldn't feel so bad?
And he totally felt bad.
Anything else in and around dinner and your beer generic one eaches?
Yeah, Watts would totally try to rope everyone into playing poker.
Okay. I will let you, the players, decide how you want to respond to that.
Yes. So he pulls out his signature item deck of cards. So anyone interested in some poker?
I'm waiting for Pike to just clean house as the NCO that he is. Sorry, go ahead, Luke. What were you saying?
So Winston just got his pay doc, so he's like, it's looking pretty attractive. He's gonna go a couple hands.
See, I was going with I ain't got no money to bet, so I'm out. But no, you're going with well, here's a way to get my paycheck back.
Yeah, I want to get paid. I want to get that experience point this game.
Y'all go ahead. Give me like 2 seconds, but y'all keep going. I'll be right back.
That's how you're gonna get your unpaid experience point, is fleecing the rest of your team.
Hey, you're doing the same.
Oh yeah, he would. But it's hilarious.
Yeah, he's gonna go a couple hands and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. I'm not even sure what type that would be.
What was the question?
What type of role is playing poker?
Manipulation.
Yeah.
Okay. Especially for poker. Now, if you had used just about any other card game, I don't know what I would have said. But poker is almost as much of a mind game as it is a card game.
So Wescott will indeed join the game.
All right. What are we rolling here? Just doing
a I would just say generic manipulation and see who does best.
Yeah. Whoever's got the more successes. No stress. Winston rolls. Oh God, you guys rolled at the same time. Okay, Wescott got more successes than Winston, so I think Wescott.
Well, we got Watts is also playing.
Oh,
is Warren going to play?
Warren is going to play. He has a bad taste in his mouth.
He's gotta find some way to get his mind off of it. Don't worry about that.
He's gonna roll the stress anyways.
Okay, I guess that makes sense narratively. Well,
he's gonna be like, let's see here.
He keeps it together. He's fine.
Okay.
He doesn't do well. He doesn't do well, financially speaking, but he keeps his shit together. No. Maybe he's fighting off some of that, like, you know how when you eat something and it's almost instantaneously diarrhea starts kicking in? So he manages to keep it all together.
Yeah.
Pike will play. Pike's not expecting to win, but he'll play a bit because it's it seems like it's doing good for the team, so he'll
It's
throw
for
in
the
a little bit.
camaraderie. It's,
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw in a story while we're playing poker as Winston, and this is totally not something that ever happened to me, and it doesn't relate at all to the diarrhea. But I was living with a roommate of mine, and she had brought over this like a blueberry cheesecake at
Ooh.
some point.
Sounds good.
And I'm like, yeah, blueberry cheesecake, that sounds great. And I'm usually like the leftovers guy, so like if it's sitting there for a while, I just go, you know what, I'm gonna eat it, and it's gonna be fine. Because like she's not gonna eat it, and I just devour whatever's old. So I mean, whatever. So I'm eating this cheesecake. Okay, I'm just like I got the whole plate, and I'm about halfway through, and she comes in and she's like, "Hey, what are you eating?" I'm like, whatever. I just found this in the fridge, and I'm a little guilty because I'm thinking like, oh no, was she like planning on eating it? And she's like, no, seriously, what are you eating? And I'm like, it's like blueberry cheesecake. She's like, we don't have blueberry cheesecake. And I'm like,
Not anymore, you know.
yeah. So I'm like, I'm a little dumbfounded. And she's like, she goes into the fridge, she runs to the fridge. She goes, are you eating an apple pie? You're eating the apple pie that's been there for like 6 weeks.
Oh.
Ew.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh man, that cannot be good. uh, I think we can all imagine how that ended.
Surprisingly, it just passed right through my system, and then nothing bad happened.
Wow, you and Kane should hang out more often. You guys are like your powers combined. You could be the next Batman and Robin. Just take a couple of criminal justice classes. You guys would be great.
Yeah, so that's my cheesecake story, and it's great.
It's amazing. That is terrifyingly amazing.
I have a cheesecake story in the exact opposite direction. Called
Projectile vomiting.
yeah. No, the it turned out well.
Oh,
So
that
it starts.
opposite.
Yes, yes. It starts with the tragedy of we're making we're doing group stuff, and we're making mac and cheese and barbecue and standard fixings. One of my friends had the brilliant idea of using a double boiler to melt the cheese. Right? Like you normally just do with chocolate. So no, he exploded a Pyrex bowl across half of my kitchen. I still occasionally find glass shards with my feet 2 years later, even after scrubbing and mopping and everything.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
god. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
But it leads into the cheesecake story because a week later, I turned around and pulled out another Pyrex bowl from the exact same set to double boil chocolate to make a cheesecake so I could send them a picture going, click, look, that's how you use a double boiler.
All right.
It was good cheesecake too.
So I think we have for the cards. I think it's let's see, who was it that had the two successes? That was Wescott. I think Wescott ends up cleaning up the pot at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I look at this, I collect the pot, I go to the quartermaster mother person, I go buy a shit ton of snacks, I come back, divvy them back up into people's lockers.
Oh,
Where do you
right.
think my snack
So-
funds come from?
Right. So for my paperwork,
Yeah.
the other thing that I was going to do was make sure to list the ammunition that needs to be replenished, ammunition that was combat lost. I also combat lost my ghillie suit.
Because it got all mucky.
I submit that my due to combat conditions, my ghillie suit is no longer serviceable and needs to be replaced by mother as part of my standard equipment.
Well, it's a good
That's
thing for
one way of
you
getting
that
extras.
Mother doesn't have a 60-year-old retired military veteran working at Central Issue Facility.
Yeah, no, I'm abusing the fuck out of that.
You might as well, because if you tried that shit in the real world, so that crusty old retired vet at CIF would be like, get out of here. This is so serviceable.
I've got some great when we're not on camera combat loss stories.
Oh.
But yeah, so I combat lost that so that I can get issued another ghillie suit.
And there you go.
And then I just like I'll head back down after the like during the poker game. I'll get up and head down to Mother or to the printers to go pick up my replacement ghillie suit.
Yeah.
So I can come back and at the end of it, like come back because like I played for a little bit and then I got up to go like deal with that and then come back towards the end of the game and while Watts is sitting at the table, I just take the packaged bits of ghillie suit and I just throw them at him across the table.
Oh, you were gonna try to give Watts give Watts a ghillie suit so he could be like you, huh?
Yeah, I combat lost mine to get another so I could give him one.
Gotcha. So I guess I need to give Watts a. Or does he already have one on his character sheet?
He
I
does
got
not.
it.
What did you say,
So.
Kane?
I say I doubt it. It's not part of his MOS's kit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, he has a Seaburn kit, so he might opt for a flamethrower this coming next time on a mission instead of a grenades, but we'll see. Maybe he can switch that up.
Those incendiary grenades are very good.
Yeah, that's why I took them. Because you can launch them through the pulse rifle.
Yeah. And I would like to grab a warrant at some point.
Sorry, I
Are
was
we
putting
firing
I was
grenades?
Oh wow!
Why are we doing grenades? Who's mad?
Winston fully commits to the dark side and just frags everybody.
No, I'm trying to move my stuff around, and
Watts has the ghillie suit, by the way.
here it is.
But I would like to grab Warren at some point.
Okay.
Take it away.
And just sort of pull him to the side.
I feel like this would probably take place like as the card game is wrapping up. Watts is sitting there going, "Oh my god, I have a ghillie suit now."
Yeah.
It slightly makes up for the fact that I just fleeced everyone's money, but I'm replacing it with snacks, so it's almost okay.
Almost.
Well, I feel like I grab Warren towards the end when Wescott is in the middle of like a soul crushing hand that he's already folded on.
Wescott shows up with all of a sudden like 3 aces and just bluffs the shit out of everybody because nobody sees the 4th ever. And everybody folds, and Wescott goes, "I ain't got to show you my cards." And Warren's like, "Nah, fuck that." And sees 3. It's motherfucker. She said she had 4, and then she only got 3, and now we're all out our money.
Yeah, so I'll pull Warren to the side.
That's
Yes, sir.
That's you, Luke.
How are you doing?
Uh-oh.
That was epically
Doing
timed.
pretty good. That fish was.
So sorry. I did not mean to laugh all over that. You froze right as you started to respond to how you doing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing good, but that fish was not as tasty as I thought it would be.
I mean, we didn't really know anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, we had no business even eating it.
Sure, we did. It was a trophy.
All right.
I just want to make sure you're good. I know Winston left you in a shit sandwich.
He did, I guess, but I mean, it worked out.
I mean, you're still here. That's a win.
Winston will remember this.
Yeah, I need like just no sugarcoat. This isn't buddy fucking. I need to know if you have a problem with Winston. I'm not trying to fuck anybody over right now. I'm here to look for problems and see what I got to do to fix them.
Let me see. Does he have a problem?
Apparently, he's just as soulless as Winston is.
Yeah, I mean, it was a stressful situation, I guess. He was muttering something, and then he kind of just bailed. But
Hold on.
I guess
I want to interject, and I've been trying not to, but I was just thinking about this. You failed empathy, which means you show no empathy, which means you don't try to see it from Winston's perspective. So
yeah, that's what I'm going.
theoretically, you could be like, "Fuck that guy. He fucking ditched me."
Yeah, that's what I'm going
Oh,
for.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
just yeah, you gotta let him do his
Yeah.
thing.
So yeah, so it was a stressful situation, but he bailed, and man, those prisoners, they wanted my head, and that wasn't really cool of him. Um, I could have used an extra gun, but uh, he wasn't there. I don't know where he went, and then a couple minutes later, you guys showed up. I don't know what your conversation with him was, but uh, I I hope that I can count on him next time.
Do you feel like you can?
I mean, he's always kind of been there. Um, he's certainly changed a little bit since the mission started and since we've been enlisted. Um, but I guess all I can do is hope that he does good. It's
You're
it's a new environment for us.
using a lot of maybe and hope language. Do you
Yeah,
believe that he can have your back? Do you believe that he will have your back?
I think he needs to be adjusted, but yes.
And you're not just saying that to keep him out of trouble?
No, I mean it did work out. But it's your call, whatever you want to do with them. I know that you had pulled him into the office. You've been spending a lot of time with him. I'm sure you've talked to him about something. Um, it's not really my place to reprimand someone, but if he doesn't seem reliable, then I mean that's up to you to see that.
Like, you two have to be able to absolutely trust each other. You tell me if you don't trust him, I'll make some changes. All right?
I think I need to have a conversation with him.
All right. If
I've
you
been
decide,
ignoring this problem.
yeah, this is I've been doing this long enough that this sort of thing will fester and turn into something bad. So you want to have a talk with him, you want to settle this, and you're satisfied with it, and you believe that he has your back. I'm good. I'm good if you're good with this. But if you have that conversation, you're not satisfied and you don't feel safe, you don't think that he's going to have your back, or you're worried that he might not, and you can't trust it, just let me know. I'll make some changes. All right.
All right. Thank you, Sarge.
Yeah. Battle buddy is a sacred thing. I'll just sort of like slap him on the shoulder.
Anything else around dinner time? Anything else you guys want to do? All right. There is an announcement through the PA. There is a ship returning from Tithonus, getting ready to offload personnel and material onto the Tambatam. Other than that, you guys have the rest of the evening. It does seem like after maybe another hour or two, there's another. Trying to think of the right word here. You know how, like, old school, Age of Sail, there was usually different bells throughout the night, or rather, throughout the day, both marking the time and shift change and things of that nature. I think there's another similar thing in the, time appropriate. There's another announcement or some other indication that the ship is breaking orbit. Probably around about 11 or 12 o'clock at night. But again, you guys have until theoretically another 8 hours or so before you need to hit the sack again. What do you want to do with your time? You've had some arguably questionable food. You've had some really shitty, cheap beer. You had a great game of cards for one of you, and for the rest of you is okay. You've had a couple of good conversations between each other. Had some good times. Definitely memories were made.
And my stash of chocolate covered coffee beans have been refilled, and now everybody else has some too.
Oh,
I think I mean, I'm gonna check to see if Szymborski's left me any messages, but
You haven't seen hide nor hair of Szymborski this whole time.
yeah, that's
Just that
fine.
one note when you first woke up.
Yeah. You said that a ship came out to dock for a supplies exchange.
No, well, yeah, a shuttle has come up. So, like, if you mentioned or if you caught on, 'cause I don't know if I specifically said it, but oh shit, let me back up. So that bag that you have for Ganon,
Mhm.
about the time you finish up your last conversation, your last one-on-one there with Warren, that nurse approaches you and says, "I need to take that bag." And he's not trying to be
Ooh.
argumentative. He explains that, like, everything that's heading down to the planet, including Ganon inside his pod, is heading down right now. I need to grab that bag and have it secured, as well as his everything.
Did I get a message back from the office of the general?
No, you don't get messages from the office of the general. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, I didn't
You do
send,
actually what you would have gotten. I should have
see,
read.
I was very particular. Obviously, I didn't
Yeah.
send a message to the general. I sent it to like the secretary.
Yeah, I think what you would get back is something to the effect of all belongings. Excuse me. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. All personal effects, equipment issued to, and any other belongings of Kent Ganon are required to be delivered with Kent Ganon in currently in cryostasis or whatever the fuck the word is, to be shipped out at such time to be delivered from the Tamatam to the surface of Tethonus, blah 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 blah. Official, signed. And it's very obviously this is a stamp, not her actual signature, but it's her signature.
Right. So there's no update for like handling his classified materials.
Correct. It's just all of his stuff needs to go.
Okay.
If anything,
So
if anything, there is something of a procedure outlined where all of his stuff is to be placed in a container, sealed by nurse second class so and so, witnessed by Sergeant Heath Pike, whatever the Pike's full name. Heath A.W. Pike.
mhm.
There's a couple of signature blocks. Like there's an image of the form to be used put into the Word document.
Okay.
So it's like it's all clear cut and dry official, but effectively all of Ganon's shit has to go with him.
Right. So I'll have pulled up a copy of that form and pre-filled out everything for the nurse and I.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the nurse comes by for that transport down,
yeah, when he shows up, he's got the box of stuff and he's kind of lugging it because there's a little bit already in there.
so yeah, I give him a copy of what I got as a response, and I show him that I've already filled out the form that we need to do.
Yep. And he's like, yeah, nope, I got the same update. I'm gonna take that stuff, we're gonna put it in the box, I'm gonna lock it, I'm gonna seal it, I'm gonna record the serial numbers for the seals, you get a copy, I get a copy, and then I'm gonna run all this stuff down. Copy goes with copy goes in the box, copy gets taped to the outside of the box, so that way they can verify that these are the correct seals, and if there's a problem, then CID was the Army. It's probably NCIS or something. Whatever the
Some equivalent, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the investigatory body would be is going to come hunting us if there's a problem.
All right, so
it's the Blackguard is what it really is, but we're not going to talk about that.
So the dropship crew is going to inspect the seals and everything. You're going to do your paperwork swap with them when you turn over Ganon.
Yep, chain of custody. And he pulls out another form that is literally chain of custody form.
Yeah. So, not going to get in your way at all, but I do want to follow it out and watch him get on the dropship.
Not a problem. We got to move quick though because the dropship is here. They've already offloaded their stuff.
Sure. Yeah. And I've we're talking about this while I've already put the bag in there.
Yeah.
Like I did the drag with him so he could see that nothing has gone missing since I left.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everything is there. We put it in. You know, he
We should
seals it while I do.
Start
You know.
shuffling around, start walking and talking again.
Yeah, I mean, I offer to carry the box for him.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
while we're I stay within line of sight of him,
Yep.
just so we can
absolutely.
go faster for his sake.
Yep. When you get down to the hangar bay, I think as you're going into the hangar bay, you see somebody else wheeling another sleep pod from the back of the dropship into, ultimately into the sleeping area, whatever the name of that room is. And then there's a couple of nurses or technicians or whatever wheeling that thing in. As you go in, you see Gannon's sleep pod being wheeled up the gantry into the dropship as you get there. They do the whole custody, chain of custody paperwork, and paperwork is exchanged between the nurse and the dropship crew, and then they're like, "All right, well, you guys got to get out of here because it's about to be vacuum in here."
Yeah, I mean, do Blackguard come to get him?
No, I was, that's actually a good question. I think,
It probably makes sense that at least one is there to take
I
custody
think,
of their guy.
you know what? Here's what I'll do: roll observation, see if you notice him.
I mean, we
Ooh.
kind of okay. I mean, we kind of know each other, and they wear a distinct uniform.
They do wear a distinct uniform, all black. You do notice, kind of sitting not sitting, he's standing right up, and right when the ramp comes up and meets the deck of the dropship, he's standing there. He's got all his gear on, fully kitted out, but he's also standing there like this, just watching. Just watching. Doesn't say anything. He looks at you. You guys briefly make eye contact.
Yeah, we do it's obvious I'm an AW. It's obvious you're an AW. Give him like the
There's
nod
like
of acknowledgement.
zero emotion on his face. He just looked at you, nods once, and goes back to watching everybody else. There's nothing. It's all dead there.
I mean, that's Pike. So yeah, there's the
I
acknowledgement.
I think it's
There's
even a
the
little bit more
ICU
exaggerated than I think it's a
Yeah.
little bit more exaggerated than some of the emotion we've gotten out of Pike. It's
I
like
mean,
absolutely nothing.
yeah, Pike just gives the the acknowledgement.
Yep.
Doesn't make any effort to have a conversation or anything. He just sits there. He watches the forms. He watches them check the seals and wheel everything onto the drop ship, and then leaves.
Yep. Give me one quick second here. For some reason I wasn't able to respond to Hashin in OBS, which means one of my certificates or whatever is probably expired there too, so I had to use my phone. So yeah, in short, it's probably about midnight by the time this is all done. The rest of you see this nurse come in with a box of stuff. And you see Pike kind of have their little thing together. Go ahead.
I do want to resolve my Warren and Winston situation, and I think that the only way that that's going to be resoled is
Fist fight to the death.
Damn it! I was gonna reveal a 80s montage boxing match.
Oh hell yeah! Let's go, Rocky and Rocky and what, Mr. T?
I don't know, but
So they're putting together like a way to square off to settle it.
Yeah, they're gonna
Does
square
Pike
off.
notice this?
Yeah, I mean they're gonna go into the physical education or physical training room, and hopefully there's a boxing ring.
I don't know if there's a gym, but I know there's
Probably
definitely
isn't,
floor space
but-
on the hangar deck.
All
Yeah,
right,
the hangar
so
deck's
they're
about
gonna
to be
go.
put into a vacuum though. But if
All right,
like,
so
if
this is probably
he-
before.
Pike overhears like this conversation about setting this sort of thing up, he says, I got a space you can use.
Okay.
We can turn this into a thing.
Okay.
And we go to the
Everyone's-
mess and we like
everyone's gonna watch.
move the tables out of the way.
I think the tables are
So-
one of those that are like they're like on rails, so
Mhm.
they can be pushed away towards the sides and then like folded upright.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be like our usual PT space.
Yeah,
so-
or it's like they do that because sometimes they just need extra space for something. So it's like a basic wardroom kind of thing.
All right,
yeah.
so the way that I figured this was Winston has 3 health and Warren has 4, so he's in no danger. But 3 rounds, Okay, so three rolls, so to speak. And if Winston is still standing, then Warren knows that he's got his back.
Okay. You can live with that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and let's switch this over, and whenever you're ready, go ahead and start making those rolls, and I'll make like in between each quote unquote round, we'll have a brief description of what happened. So basically, these guys are going in. Are they going in with gloves?
I would hope so.
Okay.
Or is this like jujitsu rules?
I mean,
Okay, so-
it's the
so-
Marine Corps. You can go
I mean,
either way.
Pike sees how this is going. We definitely don't have any boxing gloves, but Pike comes out with like the athletic wraps.
Oh yeah.
So you guys can like wrap your knuckles and stuff, so it's not
That's
bare knuckle.
slightly
You know,
better.
guys aren't going to break your hands unless
Well, we're gonna
We're
break
really
each
bad at
other's probably nose at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you guys
Um,
are going to get bloody. But at
Oh,
least
I
you
got
don't
a
break
better
your
idea. Hold on.
hands.
Well, not a better idea, but I got an idea. Hold on.
I got a floating nose myself.
Hang on. All right, so we've got Warren, and we've got Winston. Okay.
All right,
All right. So now you guys are both on the board.
and we're going into the mess hall.
Yeah, do that. Actually, I need to. Okay, here we go. That's all, and then. Why didn't it add up? Oh, because I got to do. Here we go.
All right.
Then roll all. And there's your initiative. And there's your combat.
All right. So Winston, he's gonna start strong.
Uh-huh.
Gonna go in. he's
And
gonna
you're
go in for the
what do you are you rolling melee combat or whatever it is?
close combat? Yeah.
Close combat. Yep. Okay. Because this way, if you guys push or get injured, it should add stress.
Yeah. All right. So one success.
So Warren, I'm just gonna go with a single point of damage. I don't know what melee punches are.
It's 1 point of damage.
Oh,
Yeah.
how convenient.
Yeah, there
Alright.
is a weapon for fist for unarmed fighting. I put it on my character sheet because I'm probably going to punch somebody at some point.
Or an alien.
It's
Yeah, I
a
feel
terrible idea, but if anyone's going to do it, it's probably going to be Pike.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
Warren, make your move.
Warren comes in. 2 successes.
Oh, I just realized I covered up. I don't have enough room for all of this stuff. Okay.
I know, right?
Give me 1 second. I don't need that open. I don't know why I've had it open this whole time. 1 second. Combat tracker can go there. I put this here. And then I can do that. That looks like shit, but whatever. That works. Okay. All right. So 2 successes on Warren.
I do one successful damage if possible.
Winston is down 1. We'll just keep it at 1 damage unless you want to add that extra success in there.
You hold your opponent in a grapple.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Now he's grappled.
Yeah.
Okay. Next turn. Winston, you are grappled at the moment. What do you want to do to get out of it? I think you have to
Right.
make a mobility to get out.
It's a close combat.
It's just another close combat? Okay.
Mhm.
But
we're gonna go with the
but the
close
difference
combat?
here is on success you get out, you don't cause damage.
Yeah, with only 1 success, he can get out of it, but he doesn't have any extra sixes to hit back.
Right.
All right. So he gets out of the clinch a little bit, and then
Yeah,
is
he's able to get
like,
some
knock out.
distance.
Yeah, and then
I mean, I
now
suppose
Warren's-
it's supposed to be a contested roll, but if he succeeds, he can get out.
Yeah, we'll go with
Okay,
it.
so do I contest it against another close combat for Warren?
Yeah, you're going to be making a crap ton of close combat rolls here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Warren, make that contested. Well, I think you succeeded
Nope.
better than Winston.
He tries to get out, but he's still stuck in.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's still grappled.
Okay.
And now it's Warren's actual turn. I believe you can go from a
Mhm.
grapple to like a throw or submission.
He's just gonna go with dirty boxing.
Yeah, you can keep the
Yeah.
grapple. Get some kidney shots in.
Yep.
Okay, make your roll. That
Oh.
is unsuccessful unless you want to push it.
No, he's not gonna push that.
Okay, that will take us, I do believe, to the next round.
Yeah.
This is round
Uh,
3.
Yep, this is it. This is
Okay.
round 3. Winston is grappled.
Winston is, if he's still standing, then that's great. He's gonna try to get out of the thing.
Yep.
Again.
One
With one
success.
success.
Then Warren needs to make his counter, but he also gets a success, so the grapple stands.
Okay. And
And
goes
now,
with another dirty toxin.
yep. And now Warren gets to make his attack. Some kidney shots. That's one success, definitely.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with that second success?
Let's see here. Opponent is knocked to the ground.
Yeah, I feel like that's a great way to wrap that fight. Just a quick couple, like you get in for the. I think what happens is throughout the course of this fight, and and you're free to reinterpret as you want. But I think what happens is you guys spend a few rounds going back and forth, and a lot of it, Warren grapples Winston and basically kind of keeps him in tight. He can't get away. He can't get free. He tries to push away. He tries to get his arms inside your arms. He just can't find a way to get loose. Meanwhile, Warren has got a good grip on him. He managed to get a couple of quick rabbit jabs in. And then right at the end, he just does a couple of quick jabs into the kidneys, does like a shove, and then follows up with a right hook that just knocks Winston dead on his ass. And Warren is just standing there. What's Warren feeling right now?
What is Warren feeling right now?
Winston's still conscious. He's on the ground.
Conscious, but he's definitely down and dazed.
Yeah. So I kind of want to just God hand this and go with he outstretches a hand and says, "You took a beating."
I want Warren to make a empathy roll.
Yeah.
He got his ass whooped in front of the team. Succeeded. So with that success, he can recognize Warren trying to be the better guy here. And that Warren is not trying to be a dick about how this fight went.
Yeah.
And I think what Winston is thinking, maybe he sees Warren as not so much challenging Winston's authority or anything of that nature, but just kind of, we're even now, and let's leave it in the past.
Yeah, we both took a beating.
Yep. That's your choice to take that, of course. But yeah, Warren's reaching out with his hand, and Winston, is he going to take it?
Yeah, he's going to take it.
Are we going to get a quick bro hug here?
Yeah, the 80s montage, muscly,
the bro
sweaty
hug.
Bro hug.
Do we get a Predator man shake on as Winston gets back to his feet? And then we get the bro hug? And Pike, you're standing there watching your two subordinates almost effectively pummel each other. Maybe a little bit more one-sided than all that. What are you thinking right now?
Pike approves.
Pike approves.
I mean,
okay, go ahead.
See, in his mind, right? He was thinking, he's like, okay, these two need to hash this shit out. If they won't do it, then he was going to do it the way that he was brought up to do it. And he was going to be like, all right, everybody, like, we're going to get in a circle. We're all going to take our tops off. You got a beef with somebody. You can challenge anyone in the circle, rank free, to fight and make your point. And that's it. It's done in the ring. They did it on their own. So he's just like, this is fucking crazy.
Shit, I don't even have to coordinate nothing. They just did it for me.
Yeah, like, this is what I would have done. I guess these guys are on the level.
Wescott, were you there to witness this?
I have the distinct feeling that she probably would approve from the team dynamic aspect, but it probably is better for her not to be standing right there as their immediate superior.
Okay.
I somehow feel like the insulation might be...
Or deniability, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would subtly approve of the course of action so they can hash out their issues, but I wouldn't stand there because then I'd have to do something about it.
Okay.
How does Watts... I feel like Watts would have been like...
Watts would be that motherfucker.
Would Watts be there selling tickets?
Maybe, but he also is probably that person standing in the doorway keeping an eye that no major.
Oh yeah, no, that yes, I definitely see Watts doing that.
He's the person keeping an eye out.
Yeah, I definitely see Watts being the lookout.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Wescott,
Mm-hmm.
Get in the mess.
I have been summoned. Yes.
Take your top off.
Oh shit.
Ooh, that's some
Uh,
grounds right there.
Yeah. Do I need to get the combat encounter back out?
neatly folded table. Yes.
I need to know how hard you'll fight.
Ooh,
And Pike, he tosses his top onto a table and he gets into the square.
Oh shit.
and you probably see Warren and Winston like all like, I'm tired.
I look at them and I very carefully do not look at them. I give them the very clear once over to make sure they're still intact, and then I very carefully don't look at them again. Okay, well, yeah, she is.
Combat encounter.
I'm gonna just unless I roll spectacularly well, again. I'm just sitting here looking at my 2 strength and then remembering that Pike has stats in combat stuff.
Very much. This is very much a David and Goliath moment.
Yeah. I mean, he
Yeah,
made
it's a
it perfectly
test.
clear what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a test, not like a fight to the death.
I mean, do you get in the square with Pike?
Yes.
Is it begrudgingly?
No, she understands exactly what's going on.
Okay.
And it makes sense to her from
Yeah.
it's important to know the capabilities of your people. She's just like, she might be the person who like takes the ibuprofen beforehand because she's not stupid. She actually probably would pull out the random ibuprofen, take some beforehand, and go, might as well. I know probably how this is going to go. Oh, she tosses the rest of the bottle over to her 2 minions she's carefully not looking at.
Let's do some combatives training. And he gets into his fighting stance.
I drop in probably to the basic ass stance that is required of everybody who goes through basic. She is not a
Basic Marine Corps combative school.
yes.
Are we rolling dice here, or is this just going to be narrative? It's your call.
Beth, do you want to see if you get lucky and do something notable?
I mean, I'll roll just to see if I'm lucky,
Okay.
but I'm assuming it's just a standard close combat roll.
Yeah, unless you guys want to do more than one, we can just do one unopposed roll each. So Wescott doesn't do very well, but we kind of expected that.
Do you push the roll?
Oh, that's probably.
Oh well, you're
Yeah.
not doing stamina. You're doing.
Ew.
Okay, so
You wanna
the
push
first
your
roll was
close
close combat with three dice. And,
Oh, I pushed the wrong one. Never mind.
Yeah,
Let me fix
yeah.
this.
yeah. You wanna.
My clicky? Okay, sometimes my stamina button gets a little funny.
You may have to resize the window on your character sheet a little
There you
bit
go.
just to get the buttons to line up correctly. That's
Nope,
stamina
nothing.
as well.
Yeah, it's still
There's
rolling
something
stamina.
wrong with that because I'm clicking the correct button on my screen. Let me
Just
roll
refresh
close.
your connection.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Is it
maybe refresh
emulated?
your Foundry.
Yeah, I
is your boundary being like, yeah.
You give me a moment for it to refresh then.
Yeah, I saw you drop off and then come back.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, close combat. Push. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, that's interesting. When you refresh it, it doesn't connect it properly.
Well, it
I have to
just
actually straight up
rolled
reroll
the
Just do a fresh close combat roll.
yeah.
And then push it.
Yep, there you go. Because you had the exact same roll as the first time. Oh, ooh, ooh.
All
Okay,
right.
okay. All right, you got 2 successes there. Let's see what does Pike have for? Oh my God, he barely counters it. He barely
Yep.
counters it.
I mean, he blocks it, and he's like, "Try harder."
Now you rolled unarmed attack. How did that? Oh, because you have the weapon or the.
I have a weapon because I have
Yeah.
additional dice.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, Pike just looks at you and says, "Try harder. I don't see your warrior heart."
You get hit with the Lord's Fishbird. Are you trying to hit me, or are you gonna hit me?
So, do you want me to roll again?
It's up to you. It's your character.
Sure. I have a feeling this is about to go as well as the previous roll did.
Swimmingly.
I'll push this one too because he said try harder.
You got one.
Not super well, but it worked.
Yeah, Pike takes that hit. He doesn't try to block it. And hold on.
What is Kane got up his sleeve? That's what I want.
He's got a dagger.
I realized as soon as I said that, I was like, I didn't mean that in a literal sense, but maybe.
I'm not going to bother because I don't remember.
Oof.
That is a lot of dice.
Well, he pushed it so he wouldn't hit as hard, apparently.
No, I pushed it to hit harder.
Well, now you gotta roll. Now you gotta roll stress.
I mean, I'm good with that. So no, I know exactly how I want to play this one up.
Go for it. I want to hear it.
So I take it you're unconscious. I just punched you in the face for 4 damage.
Oh yeah, I'm out.
Okay, so like he takes the hit. He doesn't even bother blocking because he's already mid swing into a return punch and lays out Wescott. And then the twitch is like he does it and he starts moving down to the ground to start pounding. And he's got he physically has you guys can see the moment where he has to check himself out to stop from just beating her to death. He gets a little and he takes a pause while he's like mid swing while she's on the ground and then just takes a shaky step back and goes, "All right."
The first person to knock my character out is Pike.
Somehow to me that still seems appropriate.
Yeah.
Biblical.
He looks over at Winston and says, "I didn't hit her anywhere that ought to cause any real damage. Just take a quick check."
Yep, on
Just
it.
verify that theory for me, will you? That's why he's got the trembles right now.
It's just trying to maintain the control against the trained aggression.
Yeah. Yeah. With that, you could probably
Just wake her up.
Yeah. I think we can narratively argue that you go over there, you slap her a couple of times in the face, and she's like, "Huh? What? Holy fuck! You hit like a goddamn Mack truck."
Didn't you know you won that? He looks deadpan.
I'm pretty sure surviving counts as winning. As I stand back up. Sort of. I'm probably now like
you probably take a few extra seconds to get up. It's not as easy as it sounds. Standing up.
So do we all do the the freeze frame laugh from the 80s now as we all like camaraderie?
So I think by now it's getting pretty late. You get a chime from Mother indicating that in the next 3 hours or so, the ship will be translating into FTL speeds. If there's any additional work that needs to be done, it needs to be completed now. Concurrent to that, Pike, you get paged. It's Space 80, so probably over the PA. Staff Sergeant Zimborski would like to see you in your little coffin of an office.
Okay. So he puts a hand on Wescott's shoulder while he takes a knee and puts a hand on her shoulder and says, "Good job."
She just nods.
But you
Probably still partially out of it.
You really need to work on your combat skills. At least I trust that you'll try. Now you need to be good and try.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll grab his top on the way, put it on the way to the coffin office.
Is that what we're gonna call it now? The coffin office?
Yeah.
The
You know,
coffin?
let's just call it the coffin.
Yeah, or the coffin. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get there, you. Well, first off, Szymborski he doesn't really say anything. You could tell he's typing away at some paperwork of his own and just basically points at the chair. That probably between the two of you, you barely fit into this chair on this side of the desk.
Yeah, it's just like he'll sit down. He's got his priority was getting his top on so he could walk across the bay to go into the coffin.
Yeah.
So he sits down and he's unwrapping his hands while he's seated.
Yeah, I think Szymborski. He looks at it. He's like, "You what's with the? Do I want to know?"
Combatives training.
Okay, all right. Everything okay? They go well?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think they all learned. They're all a little better for it.
God, I really want to make a smart ass comment, but he would not know any of that. He's like, "Can you tell me why it smells like fish in here? Not in here, but out in there."
Is that a staff sergeant question?
Is that your answer of saying that maybe I don't want the answer?
He gives a deadpan look with it. That's a confirmation look.
He says, "All right, well, whatever. I don't care. Just authorized food, whatever." Listen, I got to review my notes because I got so caught up in paying attention to what you guys were doing. Let's talk about awards. You got a combination and a something or other that I don't remember.
Achievement.
Now. Achievement. Talk to me.
So, Wescott and Watts managed to we could start. Wescott, under fire, entered our crash dropship to clear controlled information, even though it was burning and there was enemy AT targeting the dropship.
Okay.
And then after that, Wescott utilized Watts and managed to recover a dilapidated, weeks rotted ship weapon system and hit a moving dropship with it to start our ambush on the UPP commandos.
I think he takes the next couple of minutes after you finish all that. He takes like the next minute or two to look through this was the commendation, right?
So the achievement for Watts was for his repair of the weapon itself.
Okay.
And for being the one to manually target a system that's not meant to be and successfully engage and shoot down the dropship.
Gotcha.
And for Wescott, her commendation is like restoring the targeting, her leadership under stress and fire, and the
preserving the information or whatever, the flight recorder from the first dropship.
Put her life at risk to protect other Marines and all that.
I think what happens is Szymborski just takes a few minutes to read, probably line by line, everything in the awards.
In the deck that I wrote, yeah.
Yeah, in the declaration and all that, and then he taps a few keys. The paperwork prints. He scribbles on it. And he says, "I need you to sign as recommender." All right, I'll get this to Mother and send it up to the Colonel. Should have something back probably in a few days. And then he says, "Let's talk about this discipline problem that you mentioned last time. Something about a pantsless man."
I fixed that.
Oh, good. Need all our people to have their pants on, for fuck's sake.
Exactly.
But I feel like there was more to it than just that.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, that was just, I solved that issue. Warren performed well under stress, under fire.
It's amazing what will happen when you tell a man to keep his fucking pants on. That sounded really out of context, too.
But we had a stress issue with the medic.
stress
Winston.
issue with the medic. We don't need our medic stressing out.
I agree. So
What happened?
I had a talk with him. I'm keeping an eye on him. I don't think we need to replace him. I don't think we need to bench him and send him back. But
You keep a fucking close eye on that guy. He's the last one we need a stress attack on.
yeah, I know. I'm confident that this is an adjustment thing,
Okay.
and we're on the fast track for him getting adjusted real fucking quick.
Okay.
If I have,
He takes
I'm
a
not
moment
taking
to
any
like.
risks.
You hear he kind of sits back, looks at his screen, and he does some typing, and he's typing for a minute, like probably a good 30, 45 seconds, just straight typing. He's like, okay, what else?
Well, I put everything that I was concerned about in his file, so you can read the memorandum anytime you like.
I'm gonna read it now. He pulls it up. He's like, oh, really? Did you put in there like the particulars about him walking away and all that, or was it just
I did not put that he abandoned his battle buddy.
okay?
I put I put to the effect of during a combat situation due to stress, he how would he have phrased it? Like during action, he hesitated and needed to be brought. He needed to be brought back into the fight.
Okay. I think
So it's just-
Zaborski's response to that is
He just listed it as like he froze on his first exposure to violence, basically.
yeah. And I think Zaborski's like, okay, keep an eye on that. We don't need that getting worse. We need these guys dialed in. Plain and simple.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it before with other guys. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
But it was worth mentioning. So if this does get that bad, there's already a track record, so it's easy for us to send him back.
If it's worth mentioning, it's worth keeping an eye on. Smart.
Yep.
All right. What else do we got in here? He starts looking through. He pulls out. You'll know what this is. The little notebook that everybody put in their cargo pocket. He pulls out one of those, starts thumbing through it. I got nothing. I don't know where we're going, what we're doing next. All I know is we came here. I've been stuck in these stupid ass. God, what's the word I'm looking for? Hold on. Hang on, it's coming to me. I gotta rifle through all my military jargon files here. Give me a second. Personnel. Let's do with personnel. Command and staff. Slides. He's been stuck in command and staff. I have a feeling you might know roughly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's another one. Oh, QTB. There we go. Quarterly training briefs. He's been stuck in all this bullshit. Yeah. It's worse in the Army, let me tell you right now. They get down to all the nitty-gritty details and then start asking the questions of, well, why is your soldier in that situation? And you better have an answer. Let's see. Yeah, I've been stuck in all these meetings. There's nothing coming in about missions, but I do know we're going somewhere next. And I have a feeling that some of us are going to go one way, and others are either going to be held in reserve or going somewhere else. That's the best I can give you right now. Hopefully,
that's the impression you're getting, but isn't being said.
Nobody's giving me specifics, but the LT has been in meetings with the CO. I can't tell if they're doing personnel management bullshit or if they're doing operations planning. They're not telling me anything. And frankly, I'm concerned that they're not telling me anything. But I'm just a staff sergeant.
I mean, me not hearing anything, it's totally normal. I'm hoping that the LT's at least hearing something, but if you don't know, it sounds like she probably doesn't either.
Or she can't tell me.
Which is worse.
Yeah. It means there's a certain amount of deniability being spread around is my first thought, but maybe I'm just an old paranoid crusty ass veteran.
Oh, I've seen enough. I was thinking the same thing halfway through on the ground, and so
At any rate, I will say that last mission, you guys not getting the full scoop on what you were going into. I brought that up with the LT, and she's not entirely pleased either. Whether or not that gets pushed up any higher, I have no idea. I imagine she'll talk to the colonel about it, but it's ever since General Vaughn got on this anti-UPP trip, we were getting sent all over the place. I
She's
don't know.
apparently her office is at least issuing orders all the way down to the ship.
What do you mean?
Well, medical got orders about the dispensation of Gannon and his stuff directly from the office of the general.
That's a little weird. Maybe they just wanted their civvy back.
Maybe,
You
but
did
that's
break
still.
him, didn't you?
Hey, I brought him back alive despite his best
Yeah,
efforts.
he was broken when you brought him back, though, right? You could tell he's like kind of fucking with you a little bit.
But
Maybe
yeah.
they just sent the civvy down with you guys so they could see it straight from the source instead of reading between the lines of all our reports. You think?
I don't know. I mean, I got the sense that they sent the guy and he knew exactly what was up, but he couldn't say anything to us for one reason or another. I mean, I tried to make sure that, we were cooperative and protective. It seemed like he didn't have any problems with us. If anything, he seemed to kind of like us at some points, but he was still pretty
Fucking
tight-lipped
civilians.
about stuff.
Fucking civilians, you could never trust those bastards, especially
But
when they come from way you.
And the orders that got sent to medical didn't include anything about the dispensation of his classified stuff. So I tried to I made a request for clarification, and that also came to me straight from the office of the general.
That's a little weird. You're pretty low down on the pecking order.
I was not expecting to get anything stamped by one of her people. I was expecting to get some sort of angry gram from a lieutenant or something.
Why are you messaging the general? Fuck off already.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I think Zaborski said something along those lines too. Like he's definitely picking up what you're putting down. He's like, yeah, no, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
I mean, what I would expect would matter for the attention of the general is well beyond anything that I thought we were getting up to. Maybe this Gannon guy is a lot more important than we were led to believe.
I mean, they definitely led you to believe something other than the UPP ship was down there.
I can't imagine anything with what we knew and what he was telling me and not telling me. I can't imagine anything on that ship being of special interest to the general. I mean, the only thing it's got to have some sort of special interest in Gannon. Then, I mean, that's the only thing left, right?
Well, okay, let's walk this back. She sent you guys down there to pick up whatever was left of this ship that was supposedly a UA medical ship.
Right.
She's hard up about these border bombers and looking for anything that we could use to justify open war with the UPP. Right?
I mean, if the UPP is going to be bombing colonies, I say let's fuck them up.
But what if they're not?
I mean, what the weird shit we found on that ship certainly wasn't bombarding colonies.
It was a busted up ass ship, wasn't it?
Well, I was thinking about the things that squirt acid everywhere.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess they just didn't seem like they had the wherewithal to stay living long enough. But then again, we do aim to shoot, we aim to kill.
Yeah.
Toss grenades in our own faces.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, whether they're using a deniable asset or not, I mean, this is shit the UPP would be interested in doing. If they could find a way to get a strategic start before an open war, then that's our loss.
And if they were doing something like that, it would definitely give Vaughn her chance to bang the drums and get a war started.
I mean, who else is going to have the capability and the access to the munitions required to bomb out a colony?
Third World Empire, maybe.
I suppose, but that
Way
certainly be
you
an interesting
could
portrayal on our treaties.
Way you could, but there's no profit in it.
Yeah,
I mean, they've got the money to do it anyway.
mean, if way you needed that done, it's sort of written in our charter, isn't it?
Officially, no. Very officially, no.
Yeah, I think we've both been in this
I
in this
think,
game
I think he's
long enough to
smirking when he
know.
says that.
Yeah. I feel like way you would really need to. They've already got access to what they need to make that happen. So
Yeah, I mean, they make all our shit. All they got to do is send it in the right place with a timed fuse on it.
yeah,
They don't
but
need us.
bombing, degrading the capability of, a military that's available for them doesn't jive.
None of this makes any goddamn sense. When was I miss the days when you just could point over the ridge line and be like, "There's the bad guys. Let's go fuck them up."
Yeah.
Those were the easy days. God damn it.
Who knows? Maybe this initiative that the general's putting forward could put this back into something familiar and easy.
I feel like familiar and easy was always yesterday's news.
Yeah, I don't watch the news.
I think he doesn't even smirk. I don't think he realizes what you said in response to what he said. Like the two ideas just don't mix, and he misses that. Anyway, all right. And he does one of those like he looks at his watch, but he's very clearly not wearing a watch. He says, "All right. Well, listen. Whatever op's up next, you guys need to get the bunks, get some sleep. Well, medical sleep, whatever." Guess we'll figure this out when we get to the other side and they tell us what to do and go to shoot something.
Do you need anything else from me, Staff Sergeant?
You need anything else from me? And thus begins the reflexive cycle of who's going to do what for whom.
I don't think I need those training windows anymore. I think we handle that ourselves.
Well, that's a good thing. I haven't had a chance to do a damn thing about it.
Well, I don't need your favors. You can keep them for something else.
Noted. Get out of my office.
Get out of my coffin.
Yeah, get out of my office.
Staff Sergeant, and he gets it.
He unfolds from under the tiny little chair.
Yeah, and Zaborski goes back to typing some bullshit.
The back of the chair to be able to back out of the office.
You do a Riker. You do a reverse Riker to get out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gentlemen, my friends, let me just say it that way. I have a little bit more content, but it is 9:36, so I feel like it's time to wrap it up for the night. Unless you guys have anything else you want to do in the roughly 1 hour remaining before you have to be out cold.
I make sure everyone has all their stuff lined up perfectly in all their lockers and all the appropriate things in the bags where they're supposed to be.
All your hydration.
We're gonna get some love.
All your hydration bottles and your pants around your necks and that'd be hilarious as like a gag reel for like the closing credits. It's just a slow panning shot through the sleep tube, or where all the sleeper pods are, and you could see through the frosted glass every one of the 5 of you sleeping with your pants gently wrapped around your necks to make sure you have them when you wake up. It would only be in the blooper reel.
Yeah. No, but Warren doesn't have to sleep with his pants anymore. And we will deliver a UPP RPG warhead with the arming pin like duct taped in place. And like on the side of it in like grease pencil, Pike will write like O'Bannon's World in the date.
Okay.
And hand it to Watts and say, "Here's the trophy. Go settle your debt."
Yep, Watts will wander off, and he'll come back a short time later with a small, like what's that bottle? You have the oh God, you have the 1.5 liter bottle of liquor, and you have the bottle that's basically like 3/4 of a liter.
A fifth.
Okay, that's a fifth. Sometimes I forget which one.
Yeah. Fifth.
He comes back, but this one actually says
the handle's bigger than the fifth one, if I remember.
Yeah, this one he comes back with this. And it's there's a sticky note attached to it, and it says to Sergeant Pike. It's a fifth of Jim Beam.
Nice.
Or whatever Space 80s would have. This
Yeah,
isn't.
no.
But most importantly, this is not Kentucky bourbon generic one each. This has actually got a brand name on it. Let's talk. That's not the button I wanted to click. Let's talk about. Give me a second. I gotta find it because now I can't find it. There it is. Let's talk about experience points. Did you participate? That's an easy one. Did you risk or sacrifice something to further your personal agendas? I will now take opening arguments.
I didn't stand at the Pike.
I think that like Szymborski is Pike's like the only person that Pike really can have a somewhat personal relationship with on the ship right now.
Yeah.
And he is if Pike at least for the way that I see it, Pike is risking and damaging that relationship by hardlining, like it has to be the UPP. Like where it's obvious that Szymborski's trying to think about like
all the other things it could be.
It's like this could be more complicated, right? Like this is, reasonably this could be more complicated, and Pike's just like, bro.
No, Pike is like,
could just be the UPP, bud.
It's like Pike is like, no, I don't care how you paint this. It's very clearly red. It's red, red, red.
Yeah. So I think he risked damaging the relationship with his only real ally on the ship because he's like, let's fucking go to war with the UPP.
I like that. I would like for that angle to continue, and I'm gonna try to develop it as best I can on my side. Yeah. So you go ahead and take that one for Pike, and possibly damaging his relationship with what's his face, Szymborski. Anybody else?
I feel like Watts put a lot of effort into his following his download time agenda because it really only happens in between missions.
Mm-hmm.
He totally attempted to fleece all of you for money, but he kind of failed.
Yeah, he definitely sacrificed something.
And he did also risk getting in trouble by going and trying to get alcohol.
Yeah.
Which we definitely should not have had.
No, I feel like I know real world there would be some alcohol on the ship. I feel like there would be some, but like for special occasions or, maybe in the captain's mess, but not generally available to anybody. And certainly if anybody could get it, it's definitely through the onboard ship version of black market. I don't know what that would be called. There's probably a special term for it, but I can't think of it. So yeah, we could throw a point for Watts for his little shenanigans. Anybody else? Right. Did you risk your life for your buddy? I don't think anybody really risked their lives, but I do know Wescott took a chance going in the ring and taking a fat fist to the side of her face.
Yep.
I would argue that if Pike is Wescott's buddy, that Wescott should get a point for that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Pike is indeed the buddy on Wescott's sheet.
Yeah. All right, Wescott can take a point. Anybody else?
Right. Unless it's battle buddy related, no.
Well, this is for did you risk your life for your buddy? I mean, there wasn't so much life risking, but
yeah.
I mean, Pike is listed as Watts' buddy too, but I think he already got the point for his agenda. Yeah. I don't think it's worth double dipping for that.
Did you challenge or stand up to your rival?
No.
I think in Winston's
Winston.
I think in Winston's case, it wasn't so much standing up to him as it was becoming him.
Yeah, that's what I mean by like no.
Watts' listed rival right now is Winston, and he totally cost Winston all of his spending money that he even would have had even before his pay cut.
It's true.
Oh, from the poker game, or?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
What do you?
Pike's rival is Winston, and I took his pay away. I put something in his record.
Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely challenged your rival there.
I had a conversation where further pushed him down the dark side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else
So that's a
for?
no.
I'm sorry. Go.
So that's a no for Winston for sure.
Yeah. We did have, I believe, 2 panic rolls.
I made a panic roll.
Yes, Pike.
I did 2.
And I believe it
As-
was Winston that made one. Or no, it was
Yeah, it was
Warren?
Winston.
Was it Winston? What did you make a panic roll for? I don't remember now.
Trying to push an attack to try to get out of the clinch.
Oh yes. Okay. Did you overcome a dangerous event? There really weren't any dangerous events. The only thing close to it was, again, Wescott getting popped in the face unexpectedly. Semi-unexpectedly.
That was totally expected, and she did it anyways.
Yeah. But I don't know if I would necessarily call that dangerous. I feel like dangerous would have been like actual combat.
Yeah.
Were there any significant...
I would like to make an argument that Wescott should get that point because of the gigantic disparity between her and Pike, and the fact that Pike has to make a concerted effort not to kill things that he's fighting.
Yeah.
So she knowingly put her life in danger to prove herself to somebody who was basically trying not to be a roving serial killer.
Well, I mean, yeah.
When you phrase it like that...
I would like to argue that Wescott should get a point for surviving a dangerous situation.
Yeah, I'm just imagining the look on everyone's faces as she stands up there, attempts to punch Pike, he just shrugs it. She punches him again, he like lets it hit, and then just turns around and wails her because she's short, like comparatively short, and like the rest of these people are all behemothly tall ridiculousness, and it's hilarious. The mental image makes me giggle every time I think about it.
It's kind of like punching a halfling.
Yeah, I'd be lucky if I like made it like to the midline of his chest in height difference.
Yeah.
He probably could have just backslapped me and tossed me across the room, frankly.
All right, I'll allow that one for Wescott. Did we make any significant discoveries or revelations? I don't believe we did.
I think we did. We've discovered that Miss General's office over there is screwing with stuff that she shouldn't normally be screwing with.
Well, that the general's attention is going all the way down. Like she's having her office extend all the way down to just like basic stuff on individual ships.
Or is it
that
because
is suspicious?
Well, I think more accurately, or at least what I feel like you should have seen, was that she was definitely making sure she got Ganon back, along with all his stuff. Now, whether or not that means anything, and therefore is classified as a significant discovery, I leave that to you guys to decide.
I mean, I tried to bring it up with Pike in conversation when he was like, nobody could have known that we were going to find critters down there. Like, the ship was wrong. They needed a flight recorder, looking for survivors or whatever. There's no way the general could have known there was something that would be worth her personal attention there. The only thing that's left is Ganon. He must be significant to the general. Okay,
I'll award that. I think Pike definitely would get a point for that because he is Pike is attempting to make that connection without maybe realizing he's trying to make a connection, possibly.
I mean, he reduced down the variables too. Like,
the general's hip deep here.
Ganon must be much more important than we were led to believe.
Yeah.
If he's of a personal interest to the general.
Yeah. Which I'm not going to say anymore. Did you perform an extraordinary action of some kind?
Extraordinary.
Well, I don't think we really had any. I think everything was.
I mean,
I think a lot of this stuff was almost.
I think cleaning our guns was the best collective effort. That doesn't count as extraordinary, in my opinion.
Surviving the fish.
Oh God.
Arguably, I could give you a point for that. I think I will, just for the funny side of it. But yeah, all 5 of you can take one for the fish, and only because this is a fish from an alien world that none of y'all knew how to prepare, and yet you prepared it and somehow still managed to not die. I will allow that. And then, unless Winston is still being docked, everybody gets one for the money. I don't think Winston is going to be docked. I think the one was enough. I mean, it was narratively explained that he'll be losing 1 month's pay, but I think that just justifies or reconciles with the previous session where he didn't get the 1 point for that.
Yeah.
No, is that what the ruling is?
That's what I'm going to go with because I don't like you not getting experience points that you otherwise would have gotten.
Okay.
Because otherwise,
Yeah.
it would be like the next couple of sessions where you're not getting experience point because it would be roughly 1 month's time. But that could be like several sessions, depending on how things progress.
Several sessions.
All right, feedback and outro, starting with Rodance. Thoughts on what are you rolling?
Yes, he got it.
Yes.
Oh, you're rolling some.
Yes, I got stealthy.
Oh, nice. So
Oh,
now
nice.
he gets to use that ghillie suit and then be super stealth.
Hey,
What's the
I-
ghillie suit give him? Like 2 additional dice?
Yep, 2 more dice.
Yeah.
I'm also going to get in on that successful stealthy roll. So if you could drag that onto my sheet as well.
Oh, I got. Oh, shoot, that's right. I gotta put
Hey,
that on there.
we
for
know
Watts.
that Watts and I farm the talents so people can copy them. 'Cause- we're wits 4 and 5 characters.
Hang on. I can only process so much information at one time. Give me just a moment here. I need to put. What was the stealthy?
It should be in common. Common talents.
Yes, it sounds like a generic. All right, and then is Pike rolling it?
Don't need to.
Oh, you have it now because
Yeah,
he got it.
Watts learned it, so I'm learning it with Watts.
Let's see. You guys were in stealth school together. All right, let's get some outro comments here before you guys get all crazy. Rodance, feedback and closeout. What do you got for me?
Well, I think this is the first time my character's gone unconscious. She has survived.
And yet it wasn't during the middle of a firefight.
I know, right? It's suspiciously survivable first time around. Yeah.
Real quick, just so I don't forget. Sorry, because I will forget if I don't say this. If you haven't already, go ahead and reset your health and stress back to baseline, please.
It probably should end any panic conditions we've got.
What's that?
Yeah.
End our panic conditions as well.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all back to good. That's all
I
back
saw
to
panic is over on
good.
Pike. I was like, ooh, let me make sure everybody's tracking because if I don't say it, I'm going to forget.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I know what her next couple of points of experience are going into.
Yeah? You're going to put him in
Sadness.
stamina so you can stay awake longer?
Oh, she already has a good stamina roll. So
Yeah.
she's a wits-based stamina. She's not strength-based stamina.
Oh, yeah.
She took the talent that lets her flip it.
Yep.
Nah, she's probably gonna dump them into close combat or ranged combat. Well, she already took the talent for the rifle, so she's probably gonna dump a point or 2 into close combat to bring it up a little bit better than a 2-die roll.
Might start spending some time on the map.
Oh, wait.
Go ahead.
She succeeded on a close combat roll. Well,
Yeah.
she already has 1 point in it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh my god, she succeeded on it. She technically could buy it now.
But she's already got it, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. I was
Yeah.
having a moment.
That's fine. You got anything else?
Yeah.
We'll see how long they survive in mission number 2.
Luke, what do you got, man? Feedback, outros, etc.
Well, I'm super happy that I got my 80s montage boxing match in.
That was a good match in and
Um,
of itself. Never mind the clunky mechanics of how we did it. I think the match itself, narratively, was really good.
Yeah. So I'm pretty pumped about that, and I have a couple ideas on how to develop things in the future, and I hope that people survive. But however, Winston, regardless, was very close to being sent home and then dying of a like medicated overdose later in his life. So whoever had that under death pool, almost won that.
I think that might have been the Kane's guess,
I don't
because I
remember.
don't think I put that in yours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that
I
was
think it was-
mine.
And I do
I think it
remember
was Kane.
pinning. I remember pinning some of the Deadpool comments in not the cast channel, but the other one. Pretty sure that's where it is.
Yep, my vote was Winston dies to the internal demons.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
And I'm hoping to roll for compassion.
Okay.
If I can do that right now.
Sure, go for it. What's compassion gonna give you if you get it?
Compassion is this isn't just a job for you. You truly care about people under your care. You can push any skill-based roll on empathy twice, not just once like the other characters. Push increases your stress level by 1.
Oh, so an empathy-based skill reroll extra.
Yeah.
Am I pushing medical aid twice?
Yeah, that might be
Yeah.
helpful. That might be helpful. Go ahead and make your roll and let's see if you get it or not. Not this
No.
time. Maybe next
No.
time.
Do we put that as a tentative and then I just take off the 5 skills?
No,
You-
you keep
it
your
doesn't-
points and
yeah.
then you don't get it. That's
Okay.
effectively how that works. Unless I misunderstood something somewhere.
No, you
No,
you
I
don't
wasn't
you
sure.
don't lose the XP until you have it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Anything else?
No, I mean, this is going really well. The downtime filler episode went pretty good.
Filler episode. Which is exactly what it is, but it gives everybody a chance to like do some like character development, resolve some not important. And when let me rephrase that. Not it was important for the character, but like having that moment of getting Warren or Watts. Shit, who did he box? Warren. Having Warren and Winston have that moment of you motherfucker, you left me. Now we have to fight it out. Getting closure on that. Just having the fish fry for fuck's sake.
There is something I don't want us to forget that I forgot until just now.
Okay.
While I was doing my paperwork shenanigans to get the extra ghillie suit, the nap relief that Winston has, the stress reduction pills.
Yeah.
I would have sent him with the appropriate paperwork to medical to say that we used all of his pills so that he could get issued more pills.
Oh, so I have 3 left in my thing.
So basically, what'll happen is we'll double the doses of nap relief on the next mission if we don't forget.
So we're definitely going to forget unless we do it. What was the trying to remember, like I think we rolled 1d6 for the number of pills that came in the bottle.
Yeah.
Is that what we did?
I think that's how it works. I'm not at my own house right now, so I don't have my own book.
Yeah.
I think it was a 1d6 roll for that and for the never sleep.
I mean,
Okay, so how do I roll that?
Just in the chat window, yeah, /RD or slash roll 1d6.
Yeah.
4.
So 4 more pills.
4 more pills magically appear. Thanks to
I mean, given
requisitions.
given the specimens that we brought back up from the surface, I don't think anyone's going to argue with me being like, yeah, we used all those pills.
Yeah.
But we had to use drugs to push through that mission. It was crazy.
Yeah. It was wild down there. Do I need to add that to your character sheet, or can you update the quantity?
I think you're muted. Yeah, you're definitely muted.
Oh my god. Well, I pushed the slash, which is my mute button on my microphone.
All right, so you had 7 in there, or did you add 4 and come up with 7?
I added 4 and came up with 7.
Okay. All right, so you can.
And do I do never sleep out too, or?
If you'd like some more, Pike's more than willing to put his signature on saying that we used them all.
Yeah.
Pike over here being a
No,
massive enabler.
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah,
looking at
so-
my yeah, like anything we can help to get extra stuff. Like I actually need replacement for part of my base gear kit because I dropped it and didn't find it again.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you probably
Oh,
dropped the E-tool or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I also have another thing that I would like to do.
Okay.
I would like to have submitted paperwork to get Winston read in on AW.
Because he's going to be effectively your attending physician or your doctor or whatever the fuck.
Because he's gonna, yeah, because he's my medic.
Yeah. I think we can retcon that as needed. That Winston is aware of the artificial womb soldier program and how it applies to Pike in particular,
Okay.
and that he had to
You want-
sign a non-disclosure agreement. Because this isn't exactly public. It's not public knowledge. A lot of Marines probably know and or speculate about it, but you've been given the official answer.
Like there are other Marines that know that AWs exist and know that they're very difficult to work with, but like any of the specifics about
Like why
like
they're
what-
difficult to work with or how they're created or anything like that.
yeah. So you want to retcon that paperwork was done previously?
Well, the reason why I say it is I feel like that might have been brought up when Winston was onboarded to the team.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then I want to have our medic also submit a request for combat stims.
I had a feeling. I remember we talked about that briefly, and I had come up with an idea or two, and I don't remember them because it was like 2 weeks ago, and I never wrote them down. Because once again, crazy ideas, great ideas, wonderful ideas while I'm driving around for 8 hours a day. Never write them down. Come home, take a nap, forget everything.
But yeah, I want to have him put together a request to add to his kit AW combat stims.
Okay. I need the replacements for electronic tools.
Oh yeah, I mean stuff that's actually missing is also going to be combat loss to get replaced by Mother, so we can have our standard kits.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
if
that's
anything.
part of the standard Comtech kit. I just don't have them on my sheet anymore.
Okay.
You know, they got left in the water in the computer core.
How many reloads do I need?
I think everything you start with 2 reloads. I think that's the default.
Yeah,
two.
we go back to 2 reloads.
Okay.
I just if I don't remember to mention it now, then we won't remember it
Yeah.
for the next thing.
Yep.
But yeah, whatever role he needs to make to try to see if he can acquire those.
The AW meds.
Yeah.
I think when we come back, prior to departing for your next mission, we will have a chance to requisition supplies for that mission, and perhaps Winston, either of his own accord or he's directed by Pike, hey, why don't you swing by sick bay and see if you can come up with something? Because, I might need them. That sort of thing. I may or may not remember this. But we'll see.
I should remember this.
If not, you go into mission without AW meds, and oh no, maybe you'll survive. Maybe you won't burn yourself out before you get back. I'm being a little sarcastic when I say that. You need to be asleep. Uh-huh. On that note, Kane, you got anything? Any outro feedback stuff?
Pike would have changed his rival to Wescott if she didn't push all of her combat rolls against him. Like if she'd been like, "Oh, this dice pool is too small. There's no point in pushing," he would have been incredibly disappointed at her lack of effort.
I find your lack of motivation
Yeah.
disappointing.
Hey, I walked into that situation knowing exactly why it was going on and how it was going to happen and what was going to happen at the end of that, and I still did it.
You did.
So,
That you did.
Pike and I get along well as long as
I
we
have
keep
not.
up the both sides of the bargain, man.
He is a little worried that she's too much of a desk monkey. So he's going to continuously try to encourage her to train her combat skills so that she can fight on the line with everybody else without being at a disadvantage.
I'm waiting for the day when Wescott saves the day with some glorified gratuitous violent shit. Like, just, you know, two-hand pulse rifle, dual wield bullshit, and she somehow manages to save the day. And then later, Pike is gonna be like, "I still don't trust your combat capability."
Yeah, shit, right?
Like she just like runs into a building with a live grenade to just throw the grenade in and blows herself up like Pike did.
Only in her death do I find her redemption and find faith
Okay,
in
I'm
her
rolling this
ability.
because I want to see what I'm up to. Actually, 7 dice isn't so bad.
It's not 7 dice.
Yeah,
is not
that's
so bad.
good.
Yeah.
That's with the feat, so or with
Yeah.
the talent for it.
All right, last chance, or I'm gonna wrap it. Anybody, anything, quick.
Pike is being such a terrible influence on everybody.
Yeah, yes. It's
Hey,
amazing.
I would influence you into being sociable and skilled, but I'm not so sure it works that way for an AW.
Yeah. If people want to get an idea of just how like twisted his childhood was, go watch Kurt Russell's Soldier.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
That it's pretty clear when they wrote the AW program that it was that was one of the inspirations for how
yeah.
they wrote it.
Oh
So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, my friends, we are going to get out of here. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please consider hitting all of the like and subscribe buttons, but also exclamation Discord in chat or in the description of this video on YouTube. You can see the Discord link invite link. Give me half a second. My son is trying desperately to be quiet while waiting for my attention. Give me 1 second, friends. On that note, we are going to get out of here. So make sure you're doing what you got to do to take care of you and yours. I think Rodance is trying to get my attention now. Oh, she's laughing at something.
I could have second winded and stood back up and tried punching Pike again.
That would have been amazing. That would have been amazing.
I forgot that I had that on my sheet.
Oh, that would have been hilarious to see. I think maybe in the blooper reel.
That would have changed the result from satisfied to impressed.
I think we see that, but it gets cut and it's left. We see the actual frames slowly dropping off the cutting room table onto the cutting room floor.
It's only I straight up just had forgotten that was on my sheet.
Yeah.
So that happens.
Anyways, my friends, we do have some stuff coming up later this week. We got more Star Trek Online, Delta Recruit, and we've got... Actually, that's all we have left for this week. Unless I come up with something else, because everything else for the rest of the week has been canceled or not yet scheduled. So, at any rate, stay safe. We'll catch you around next time. Have a good one, my friends.